In a world that keeps on pushing me around, stand my ground, and I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out. Hey, I will stand my ground, and I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out. Hey, stand back. All right, good morning. Georgie. George, Mr. Hobel. Call him what you want. Good morning, sir.
How you doing, Ray?
I'm good. Good to see you again.
I can't hear anything.
You can't. Well, open your ears. What's wrong?
Now I hear it.
You hear it now?
Yeah, hello.
Oh, you got a volume on your headset
I do.
too? Wow.
Oh, this is high tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got used to your phone yet?
I figured out that button a couple weeks ago. Y'all got me straightened out. Y'all, I've been in Charlotte for 32 years, and I'm finally using that word.
Y'all, it's a good word. You got to admit, it's kind of inclusive. Y'all.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's inclusive.
Are you from the South? No, I just picked up that word along the way. It's hard to live here and not use that word. Now that you mention it, hey, you brought somebody in the studio.
Yes, we've got a guest, a friend of mine of a couple of years. His name is Jerry. Jerry, I'm not even going to try to pronounce your
We're
last
going to call
name.
him Jerry throughout the show, and we're not going to say his last name a lot, and you're going to know why here in just a sec.
Yeah. Jerry is a remodeling contractor here in Charlotte, Indian Trail, Stallings area, but he services Charlotte.
Yeah.
And so we're going to talk about his business and his background and how he got started and how he feels about what we're doing.
What's your last name?
Shkavritko.
Shadariv.
No.
There's
a K. It's
Shkavritko.
Skavritso.
That's close.
Yeah, it's a little mouthful, kind of. Say it one more time.
Shkavritko.
I'm going to call you Chevriko.
Skavrico.
Chevriko. I can't say it right, but anyway, you're Jerry. Now, what is your real name?
That's my real last name. My real first name.
I knew there was another something, and there had to be, with a last name like that.
So my real first name was Yaroslav.
Okay, where are you from?
From Ukraine, originally.
Cool.
But
you were born in Ukraine?
Born in Ukraine, lived in Rochester, New York, for 30 years or something.
Right. What age were you when you moved to America?
I was 10.
10? Cool. So you've been here since you were 10 years old?
Yep.
Wow, you had a childhood in the Ukraine.
Just a short one.
Well, it was 10 years. That's your foundation years, man.
Yeah.
That's what made you who you are, really.
Yeah.
I mean, the first 2 years are the most important years of your life. And the true foundation years in your childhood years.
And Rochester, that's a lot like Ukraine. It's cold.
It's cold. There's snow there. Yep.
What brought you to the southern part? Well, you moved here when you were 10, went to Rochester.
Yes.
Okay, what's your life like in Rochester? What's your story, Jerry?
You want to hear the
Come
whole
on,
story?
you got it. Sure. It's Saturday morning with Jerry.
Well, here's the neat thing. We're in Charlotte, and every time you go around, you meet people in Charlotte. Most people are not from Charlotte. There
That's
are
true.
a lot
That's
of people
true.
in
Right now,
Charlotte that are from Rochester.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we want to hear your part of that story.
Well, and plus, you come across the water too.
Yes.
You're a true immigrant, so to speak, as a child.
Some people call them FOBs.
Okay.
Fresh off the boat.
Fresh off the boat. Yeah. Well, I think it's great. And obviously you found a life in America, and that's a great thing. But what's the story? Your family came to Rochester.
Yeah, my
when
parents.
you were 10 years old.
Right, so that was back in 1989.
Before adolescent.
Yeah. Back in 1989, Ukraine was still part of USSR, so it was the Soviet Union back then.
Right. Right.
And in Soviet Union, it's not like in America, at least not how it used to be, right? Where, where,
Do they have gas stoves in Soviet Union?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
asking.
Yeah, they do.
Asking for
They
a
do.
friend.
They do. They do. No, and I'm sorry, since he brought it up, okay, Jerry Eisenhower's going to be calling in at 1918 after, and we're going to talk about this political BS about gas ranges or gas appliances and how we need to get away from them. That's total malarkey. It's crap, and we're just going to expound upon it for about, I don't know, one segment and kind of just dismiss this crap. Hopefully, somebody will listen because we just want to talk about how ridiculous all this crap is. Just point blank. And there you go. Now it's back to Jerry, another Jerry.
so back in 1989 and before, basically before 1991, Ukraine was part of USSR. There was a lot of restriction, even persecution of certain people in Ukraine, in former USSR republics, and so on. So there were some people from our town decided to move out of the country, and the door opened up to where
You had the
they were allowed.
opportunity. Yeah.
Right. So my parents were part of the second year of the people that moved out from there. They had some friends, neighbors from the same town that moved to Rochester, so it's kind of like the
Right,
you
sure.
know people in that town, so you go where you know
Yeah,
some people.
yeah.
Well, you had an in. I mean, you had an opportunity, and your parents took it.
Yeah.
Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have 2 brothers, 3 sisters.
Wow, big
Wow.
family. Did you all come?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So all of you moved. That's how many? 2 brothers, 3 sisters, or 6 of you?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. So
Where do you fit?
I'm in the middle. I'm
You're
the
a
fourth,
middleist, kind of like me. Yeah.
the fourth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So went into city schools there. Went into elementary school, 4th grade, then middle school, high school, all city schools in there. So really learned what American life is like, I guess, growing up in the States.
Now I've got a question for you. Because Rochester, New York, a lot of trades were pushed up there in schools.
Mhm.
What did you go to a school where you were exposed to the trades and tools and or both?
So our high school was a vocational high school.
Cool. Well,
Um,
that's a big yeah.
Yeah, so first, 9th grade, you go through like a rotation of, I don't know, 10 or whatever number of different trades.
Mhm.
So you like go into one for I don't know if it's
You
3 weeks
rotate.
or whatever.
You're
it is.
exposed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's awesome.
that was really good. Was really good, but I still didn't know what I wanted to do. Like,
Sure.
like
I
they had,
understand.
Yeah.
But you had exposure.
Yeah.
right. So they had like aviation, so we flew like a little Cessna. A little
Oh,
bit. I
really?
remember I was
That's
like
awesome.
behind the wheel actually with
Yeah.
the instructor. and
You
stuff,
flew
so-
it.
Yeah. Well, with the instructor, there was like 4 of us.
Well,
or
you had an
something.
instructor like
Yeah.
driver's head kind
Yeah, it
of
was like
thing.
two wheels.
Yeah.
But like in the air?
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. it was
Hello.
Pretty cool.
That's good stuff.
I had a friend that in high school when you do driver's ed and I wasn't in his car. I was in a car with 3 other people, but in his car, he might have been driving and he went to make a left-hand turn and they got side swiped. They got hit broadside and the car flipped over and the window cracked open where he was and the car is sliding down the road and it like almost took his ear off
Oh wow.
because he was on the pavement.
Sure.
Yeah, so I can't imagine what it would be like having high school training pilot classes.
Well, and I wasn't even training. It was just an intro class.
Okay. Oh.
There was an exposure,
Yeah.
an awareness.
Right.
Yeah,
So there was
but
the
you did get to
instructor-
feel it, hold it, feel it, see it, smell
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Right, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it
that's a
wasn't
little
like
bit
I
easy.
I
And
took
you
off
even
and
got
landed,
in
but-
the freaking
Okay.
plane. You
Okay.
got in the plane. You felt the plane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's cool.
Oh, it's more than cool. It's what we should be doing with our kids today.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, carry on. This is
Yeah,
good.
I just remember holding the wheel and like I was so nervous. I'm like, I don't know what to do. The
Right.
instructor was telling me what to do, but I'm
Sure.
like, just by not
But
doing
see,
anything,
how
I was
old
like
are you,
lowering
Jerry?
it up.
Nice.
How old are you now?
How old am I? 43 or something.
You're in your early 40s. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But here you sit at 43, reflecting on the time
Yes,
where you
yes.
sat in an airplane in high school or school, middle
Yeah,
school,
high
whatever
school.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah, high school? Okay.
Well, that
Well,
exposure
that's
is
awesome.
really cool. But think about it. What's the percentage of people across the board from 10 to 60 that have held on to a yoke of
Yeah,
an airplane?
sure,
That
exactly.
have had that and
Now
at
let's
least
get-
been exposed to that.
Right. What else were you exposed to?
So that was their computer classes were there, like programming or whatever.
Right.
They had drafting. They had printing.
Because
they-
you're not that old. I mean, the reason I'm saying this, and now,
He's
back.
half your age.
I know. I mean, not half. He's a little older than that, but that's cool. Yes. You know.
So mechanicals, like fixing cars and stuff like that. There was a shop for that.
Sure.
There was construction as well, like framing and whatnot. But still, I went through that whole rotation. I was like, I still don't know what I want to do. I landed in printing, doing printing. So
Right.
doing
I did printing in junior high school, believe it or not, and in shop class. They had a printing press. He asked me, did I want to learn printing? I already had the rest of it sewed up, so, he learned. He said, well, you want to learn something else? I said, sure.
Is that back when you
All
actually
set.
had the
Yeah,
letters?
Yeah, you had to set all the
Good
letters
Lord,
and stuff.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, Carrie, it's not my story. It's Jerry's. Okay. So you got in printing.
So yeah,
So that's technology back there. That's graphic design and stuff
right.
that,
So
like that.
there's some
Yeah.
computer work where you design
yeah.
some
Layout.
images and
Yeah,
all that kind of
exactly.
stuff. And
Yeah.
then they had a 4-color
I mean,
press.
nothing's
Right.
changed. We're still there today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, for the next 3 years in high school, I was in the printing program,
Okay, cool.
doing different things. One year was like drafting was part of it. You learn how to.
Oh,
lay
yeah,
things
you
out and all that.
design.
Sure,
yeah.
sure.
It had a bit of creativity attached to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And see, I don't care how we implement thinking back in schools, thinking with your mind, your hands, and your creative side. When we get to that point, we're educating kids. Because, see, everything else, science, math, history, everything else ties into that. Everything in life. Because we, as human beings, were put on this planet to use our minds with our hands and help create and help each other. We're animals. That's what what we're supposed to do. And so you got into printing. How'd that work for you?
I mean, for the time being, it was fine. Like I found a job in printing along
Out of high school?
Yeah, like I was still in high school, and there was like almost like in college they do
Kind of
the
like an
co-op.
apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Call them internships.
Yeah.
So this is not a new idea.
No.
Yeah.
Well, they've melded it a little bit and call it certain things now too.
And taking it away.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
it's gone, all but gone in Charlotte Mecklenburg. Of course, we're going to change that. Though.
Okay, go on.
We're
Jerry.
going to change it.
Yeah. So during that time,
Part of why we're talking about it. Bringing it to the surface again.
during that time, I was in the printing program. I think it was my senior year. I got a job in printing as well. So just kind of learning the different parts. So it's not just printing; it's also cutting the pages or whatever, folding. There's like
Sure.
all kinds of things.
Yeah, yeah.
Stapling booklets and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. So there's different machinery you work around and stuff. But out of high school, finished high school, I was like, I don't know if I want to do printing for the rest of my life. So I still wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to, I was like, maybe getting into like hotel management or restaurant or something would be nice. So I actually registered for Johnson Wales College in Rhode Island.
No kidding.
Got accepted, everything, and was going to pursue some kind of career in hotel management,
Yeah.
hotel restaurant management.
Yeah.
All right,
Figuring it out.
we're going to take a break. Okay, we're coming back to your story because I want to ask you a question. There's a 43-year-old guy coming from Rochester, New York, a whole different kind of learning environment than Charlotte, and I do mean that because I've talked to a lot of people from New York and even Georgie here, from Long Island. That's where you were raised, right?
Yeah.
Long Island, and but how it differs from Charlotte and our environment. But for now, I got to take a break. We got to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk to Jerry Eisenhower, the gas chimney fireplace, chimney sweep. He's a lot of things, but he's got a lot of knowledge, a plethora of fireplace gas knowledge. So we're going to talk to him and find out. Well, hopefully, we'll steer you in a direction that you'll kind of go with.
We're going to tell you about the gas stoves that you need to buy now before they're outlawed.
They're not going to be outlawed. They're not going to be outlawed because we're not going to let them do it. Okay? They do not have total control, folks, and we can't let them have it. Especially, well, anyway, come on back. We'll talk about the gas side of it. Right here on About Your House, Fox Sports Charlotte. Download the free app or go on your browser, foxsportsradiocharlotte.com. Or if you're inside the Beltway, you can try 94.7 FM on your radio dial. So we'll be back with more About Your House. Jerry from Valverax. Did I say that right?
That's right.
And we'll learn all about that. And George Hobel's in the house. Come on back and let's just talk and spread some love. All righty. Welcome back to About Your House. talking to George Hobel and Jerry Shevrico. That's not how you say it, but that's close. And with Valverax, we're going to talk to Jerry, more of Jerry, that Jerry Shevrico, with Valverax when we get through with Mr. Jerry Eisenhower. Pull Jerry up, please, sir. Good morning, Mr. Eisenhower.
Good morning, Ray, and it's a wonderful, wonderful morning, isn't it?
It couldn't be better. Well, it could
It could be
better.
warmer.
It could be a little warmer.
It could be a little sunnier.
We're in the 30s this morning, a little brisk. Have you been outside yet, Jerry?
Yes, sir, because I was up at my normal 5 o'clock and actually doing research for our discussion we're getting ready to have.
There you
So I
go.
put a little in-depth research in at your request.
I don't know how much a conversation we'll have because you're the man with all the facts. I called you because of all this. Well, this is Ray Terry talking, not Jerry, because I don't know where he stands on this. But I turn on my computer, screens, doing research myself throughout the week, and you get the byproducts of all this. I call it BS, but crap about global warming and all the agendaed items in the political structure of all the mayhem, and none of that made sense. Just about as much sense as how much our government's making right now. But anyway, to topic at hand, the report.
Ray, let's try to make some sense out of all this today. But let me add this in. I just heard you and your guest talking, and I think it's great you got somebody there that picked the name Jerry when he immigrated to the United States. And I don't know if you know it or not, but actually in my past life, I was an offset pressman for over 20 years in a printing plant.
That's awesome. There you go. Small world, isn't it?
Very small world. So, are you ready to rock and roll with this?
I want you to expound on the news of the week around gas appliances and the fact and what they are and what they aren't. How's that? That's a pretty good question.
That's good. So let's rock with it. So here's my thoughts, Ray. First of all, this is not a new debate. Okay, it just came to light this week because a gentleman by the name of Richard Trumka Jr., he's a commissioner with the Consumer Product Safety Commission, told Bloomberg on Monday that a gas stove ban was being considered, that the gas stovetop was getting the same sort of protective treatment that is usually reserved for things like firearms or meat consumption. Am I getting through to you at this point?
Pretty close.
There's been an ongoing battle, and I mean battle, against fossil fuels. And when we look at this is not the only battle that, the Stooges, and I hate to say that, but when we were kids, we
Great
had the
word.
Three Stooges. Now we got the Stooges in Washington, right?
Great word. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? So, but here's what's been going on over the last few years. This attack has already resulted in an outright ban on new gas hookups in some municipalities across America, where there's a high concentration of liberal-thinking Americans, Sierra Club members, and others. There is a push ongoing to eliminate the use of natural gas in homes in America. This is real, okay? And to be honest with you, this could be phrased as a solution looking for a problem, another attack on our way of life, and a view that we should all start living in a dabbling bubble, Ray. But to go deeper into this, does natural gas produce harmful byproducts? Well, to be really honest with you, it does. But it is so minute, it is unreal. See, gas combustion causes something called NOx. The more formal name of this is nitrogen oxide. There's other emissions, nitrogen oxides, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, volatile organic compounds, and even trace amounts of sulfur dioxide and particulate matters. Now, you and I many times have talked about vent-free gas logs on your show. And vent-free gas logs are allowed in homes, but the ruling is to be listed as a vent-free product, it has to produce less than 5 ppm of carbon per hour. Are the levels harmful? Well, in high enough concentrations, they could be. but the amount produced by a gas range is very minimal. Okay? There's also a claim, this is the really ridiculous one when I started research, that the CPSC is claiming there is a leakage of natural gas even when the appliance is turned off.
Oh, God.
Okay? But see, that's kind of ridiculous when we look at it because gas lines are tested to a high PSI.
Yep.
A standard residential pressure test will include pumping the line up to 20 PSI and requiring the line hold pressure for 4 hours with less than a 2 PSI drop. When we also face, it's a present day situation in leadership positions that they don't realize that our present power grid cannot support their present direction of moving to electricity to fuel our homes, our cars, and our lights. There's even talk right now of taking airplanes and making them electric fired. And as a frequent flyer, I got some problems with that. Now, what are kitchen ranges? Okay, so kitchen ranges, they're required to produce no more than 800 parts per million carbon monoxide in an air-free sample of the flue gas. If you had continued operation of a kitchen range in a tight house without extra ventilation, could it cause carbon monoxide levels to rise to unacceptable levels? Well, it could, but I don't think a home is going to be cooking enough to provide those type of things.
Yeah, because you've got to use every burner on that cooktop going pretty much near high output to create that sort of environment, which you seldom use more than 2 to 3 burners anyway. Seldom.
Yeah, right. The answer here, if you have a concern for your home, is to have a vent hood that is vented to the outside.
Duh.
And also, you need to ensure that you have adequate fresh air supplied to the living quarters through either the HVAC system or slightly opening a window when using a gas range. Because part of the problem is, Ray, we have made our homes so tight, and we've talked about this, that many times we don't have adequate air in the home.
Make up air.
Average levels in homes, these are your statistics. The average level in a home without a gas stove, a gas range vary from 0.5 to 5 parts per million. Levels near properly adjusted gas stoves are often 5 to 15 parts per million. And if you have a poorly adjusted stove, and what we mean by that, a stove, whenever you're combusting natural gas, you're actually mixing air with the gas. And you should have 10 parts of air for every part of natural gas for proper combustions. Levels near properly adjusted gas stoves, again, are often 5 to 15 parts per million. And if we have a poorly adjusted stove, it could rise as high as 30 parts per million or higher. So if it's a concern to people, number one, make sure that you have adequate fresh air coming into your home. Number two, have a vent hood that is vented to the outdoors. Many vent hoods only circulate the vent back into the room on some hoods. But I'm like you. This is a solution searching for a problem. Then again, if we convert everybody to electricity, we can't supply it. Look what happened in Texas when the power grid went down last year.
Look what happened in Charlotte 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
That's correct. And they cut on a Saturday morning, if you remember right, they cut off the power. We went into mandatory blackouts just a couple weeks ago because Duke could not supply the demand.
Yeah, that's a different story. We'll get on that later.
Well, here's a fact that most people, and we're just kind of raising awareness here in this conversation.
Yeah.
One, we cook 40 to 70% of our food in this country with natural gas, depending. Restaurants would literally have to go out of business. You cannot cook safely, correctly, and adequately for a business restaurant with electricity.
Okay, let me throw something at you here. Part of what they are pushing is what's called induction cooking.
Yes.
Which is an electric form of cooking that they're trying to get commercial restaurants to utilize because, again, and the gentleman sitting there from Ukraine, that man can tell you what government control can do to you. Okay? That man sitting right to your left from Ukraine, that man can tell you this idiocracy that government control can do.
And they're trying their best, folks, to do it. This is another.
You better believe it. See,
this is another aspect of it.
Right. It's like a couple years ago. A lot of people may not be aware of this, but there are liberal lawmakers that want to outlaw you from eating beef.
Yeah.
They want to eliminate cattle. And the reason for it is the greenhouse effect of the cows passing gas.
Yep. Crazy world. Crazy world. But anyway, back to our gas situation. So the bottom line on all this is it's craziness, right? It's absolute.
It is worse than craziness. It is lunacy.
It's insanity. And folks,
right.
There is no safety issue. There is no greenhouse issue. It ain't broke. We don't need to fix. And there's the bottom line. So please.
Yeah, again, the whole thing is, Ray, as we've talked many times, if you want a healthy house, you've got to have a balanced house, and you've got to have enough air coming into the home to support life and support combustion.
And balance.
Without that, we're in trouble.
Exactly.
Hey, Jerry. Question. We're talking about stoves right now, but
sure.
they're not just talking about stoves. They're talking about eliminating gas appliances.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yes, sir.
How
and
about?
It's already. Let me give you an example of what's happening in the state of Massachusetts. They have now the heat pump in the state of Massachusetts is now outselling fossil fuels in Massachusetts, where it's really cold.
Yeah.
Now, why is this happening? Because of the government subsidies when you convert to electric heat in the state of Massachusetts.
Nice.
It has killed gas appliances in the state of Massachusetts, which to me is unreal in these colder climates. We've never considered electric heat as the way to go.
But this is happening. It's incentives, to people. In other words, they're paying people to do this.
Yes.
Which
just like
is
electric cars.
It's craziness.
Yeah, let me give you how they do this. If you convert to electric heat in Massachusetts, you get a really big rebate on your taxes. Now, if you convert to a heat pump, what comes with a heat pump is both heating and cooling.
Exactly.
So what you do from personal. But, we've looked at solar at my house. Ray, I will never live long enough to recoup the cost of putting solar on my house.
Right.
And in that we are under the City of Concord power. They don't buy the power back. I get hit with solar telemarketers on a weekly basis. And I know people that sell solar. And solar is a great way. But my God, when you're my age, I turned 70 years old this year. I will not live long enough to recoup this back.
Right. Well, I appreciate you calling in this morning and laying it down
well,
for
anything else I can help you with? Like I said, when you brought this up the other day, this just hit in the last few days.
I know.
So
yeah.
Yesterday and this morning, I wanted to do some research into where did this crap come from and what are the claims that they are making. So what people need to do is they need to do something that people don't do anymore, and
research.
That is read.
Research
yep. And find out the answer.
Turn your televisions off. Don't believe everything you hear these days. Don't believe anything, frankly. That's my policy.
No, newscasters are giving you their opinions. Walter Cronkite don't exist no more.
Oh, I know.
William Brinkley. They broadcast the news. Today, that we have analyzers that tell us what we should think.
Yeah, propaganda, basically. That's what
propaganda. That's exactly what it is.
Mainstream media
trying to alter the mind
is propaganda, mind-bending information. Believe what we tell you. Don't believe what you know. Where is intelligence gone, Jerry, and common sense? Where in the world has it gone?
It's gone away, Ray, because we are depending more and more on artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence crippled air travel this week. I was stuck in Oregon. I don't know if you follow what I was going through, but the FAA did a ground stop. And in the last 2 weeks, since January 1st, I have taken 7 flights. I have faced 2 ground stops. I've had 6 delayed flights. On Wednesday, I got back to Charlotte 7 hours late.
Lord of mercy.
Breaking down.
And it's just begun.
I remember
people.
In the late 70s and 80s when I used to get this Sierra Club magazine. I thought it was a cool thing. I like the photographs, okay, of the mountains, Sierra Nevada and all that. And I'm going to go, I checked out Greenpeace and all that stuff. And because I like the dolphins and all that. And I remember hearing that they were going to outlaw wood-burning fireplaces, the stove, the cast iron insert.
Well, sir, they have.
I know.
Sir, they have.
I couldn't believe I was hearing this stuff back then. And I swore I'm going to get myself a wood stove, and they'll never take it away. Well, I have one now, but the
certain states have outlawed them.
They've outlawed them in California. So one of the things I love to do, I love burning a wood fire because I like putting smoke at my chimney.
Right.
I want everybody to see my smoke.
Right. I hear you.
But see,
I elect a new pope every morning.
Right. Ray, let me clarify what he just said. Due to technology today, we could build fireplaces that produce no pollutants.
Right. And we are in certain areas.
Technology has changed everything. It's just like when you were talking about the printing business. You were talking about what's called that was letterpresses that you were talking about setting the pipe for.
Yeah.
That went away many years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Technology has greatly advanced, and technology can be a great thing. But people that use technology in leadership positions to try to alter our lives is not good. And again, that gentleman sitting there in the gray sweater that he's assumed the name of Jerry can tell you what government control can do to your life.
No question. And we're going to
talk. I've been in communist countries. I understand what life was like there.
Right. It's not looking too good if we don't wake up.
If we don't wake up to this socialistic bull crap that we are going through in this country, I'm not sure where our future holds for our kids and our grandkids.
Appreciate you calling, Jerry. And you're exactly on target. I'm right with you, brother.
Okay, buddy. Anything else I can share with you today?
That'll work. You've done great. And I appreciate you. Love you.
You're done with me, huh?
Yes, sir. Done. We're done.
Go have a cup of coffee.
On Facebook. Well, listen, I'm watching you on Facebook, so wave at me.
Hey, Big Jerry. We got you. We're on you.
Okay.
All right. Good luck, man.
You didn't wave. There you go. That's that. Tell Jerry to wave.
Little time delay there, you know. Technology delays it. They got to censor it or whatever. Make sure we're good.
I hear you, man. Well, listen, you keep on your mission, Ray. I'm proud of you. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Jerry. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great week.
You have a great day, my friend. Talk to you later.
You too. Appreciate you. Okay. We live in some crazy times, and you know, I really question sometimes where people get. Where are people? Where's your brains? Why aren't you thinking? You know, everybody's born with great intelligence, and they're trying to usurp it, take it away. You know, and I have a problem with that. I like free thinking individuals. I like to be able to. Well, I don't. I don't. Fear is my enemy. George, you the same way.
Well, you got two sides. There's faith and fear.
Yeah.
Things are either based on faith or fear.
And fear is nothing but faith moving backwards.
Socialism is based on fear.
Oh, yeah.
It can't survive without fear. And you look at what's happening, we might get into it later, but you know who Jordan Peterson is?
Yeah.
You've been seeing that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's a mess up there.
They're trying to take his
They're not trying. They're gonna.
they're going to take his doctorate away
Yeah.
or his ability to, to exist as a doctor, a clinical psychologist, which he is, world renowned, I might add. And here we go. This is,
They want to retrain him.
yeah, they want to retrain him. Yeah, and he said, yeah, that ain't going to work.
He's smarter than them,
Oh,
and
good
they want to
Lord have mercy.
retrain him.
They want to get rid of him because he tells it like it is. Truth.
They want to do to him what the media and the government in our country did to Trump.
Still doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Squash.
Oh, yeah. And they'll
Because
do it
he
to anyone for
represents-
that matter.
He represents faith now.
Right.
He didn't used to represent faith. He represents faith now and not fear. Well, you can't have faith and fear can't
Right.
exist at the same
And,
time.
really what bugs me is the fear. I feel fear everywhere I go now from people, not me. I don't,
Right.
but I feel that energy from people. People quit being fearful.
Take your mask off.
Take your mask off, live your life. But, I'm going to tell you, and then we got to take a break because we're up against the clock here. The golden rule on the universe and this planet under God's law, you don't mess with Mother Nature. You do not alter or mess with Mother Nature. It will not, has not ever worked, cannot be done successfully. Think about what they're trying to do, people. They're trying to change nature. In actuality, they're working hard at doing it. Wake up before it's too freaking late. You've got an intelligent mind. Use it. Please. That's what you got it for, speaking of nature and God-given things. Intelligence, humanity. 704-227-8800. We'd love to hear from you. You're listening to About Your House on Fox Sports Charlotte. George Hobel, Jerry Chevrico from Close. Valverax, we're going to talk to him, finish his story. Man came from Ukraine when he was 10 years old to America. We're going to continue that, much more, when we get back. About Your House. All righty, welcome back. George Hobel's in studio today with me. And we've got some great shows lined up, folks, in the very near future. I'm working to fill the calendar so we kind of can look ahead and know what's going on. I'm going on a trip in February. I'll be out a couple weeks. But next week, we're going to have Chris Tillman, you know Chris, don't you? Chris Tillman?
I do.
I
Yeah,
think you brought him in here. Well, he's going to be on the show. But primarily, we're going to be talking about the cold snap and insurance claim and after disaster. After the disaster, Whitney Thigpen's going to be on. We're going to talk about what you need to know as a homeowner in case disaster strikes, water damage, fire, whatever. So that's next week on the show. And then the week after, I'm very excited because Michael Realon, educator over at Palisades, he's orchestrated a great show of educators. And wow, all I can say is wow. I've got Dr. Balu, I can't say his last name, Kakarachu or something, and I'll pin that one down. But we talked last week about a $24 million grant to subsidize apprenticeship programs. And I don't know of all the details. That's what this show's going to be about. Also, Todd Skinner, the president of the American Engineering Group, is going to be on with us. Ashley Campbell, Charlotte-Mecklenburg School Director of CTE, which is Vocational Education. CTE, Careers in Technical Education. That's what that stands for. To me, a lot of people have no clue what CTE means. No clue. But in actuality, it's vocational education.
I'm one of them.
Well, there's a lot because I've taken a survey. Where that acronym came from is, I don't understand. Anyway, a lot of things I don't understand. And also, James Carter, City of Charlotte Director of the Renew Program. We're going to be talking to all those folks in studio January 28th, right here on About Your House. I'm very excited about that opportunity and to find out how we collectively in this here community can work together as a community and change high school students' lives and raising the awareness to the opportunities that are out there in the construction trades industry. So, that's something we need to do as a community. So, anyway, zeroing in on that. Then the week after, friend Eddie DeRhodes of DeRhodes Construction is going to be on with his new purchasers or new company owners.
Yeah.
Going to be on. We're going to discuss remodeling in the Charlotte area and what have you, as we're going to today with Mr. Jerry. Say your last name. Scadarico.
There you go.
Well, okay. That was luck. Ukrainian. So, but Jerry's in, we were talking to him before, Jerry Eisenhower called in and talking about, his story. His story, how you got here, where you come from. Everybody's got a story, of how and where you came from and how you got here. And boy, sometimes those stories are so helpful to a lot of people because a lot of people can't get out of where they're at and don't know how to make changes. Yep. And right now, the times we're in, just to hit this one a little bit, there are a lot of people in the past 3 years that have looked outside the box for career changes because they're not happy. Now, Jerry, we talked about you in school coming up in Rochester, New York. Got a question for you.
Yeah.
And when you came up through school, what was the focus of what they tried to drive you to?
In you mean like high school or which?
Like school, period. I'll just ask you bluntly: did they ever bring up you're shooting for happy? Did they ever teach happy? Because see, to me now, that they don't know what that means because it's what you strive for, right?
I mean,
isn't that what you wanted?
Right. In other circles or in other places, they're like, oh, you got to follow your passion. You got to this, that,
passion,
whatever, right? Like
passion. So they did teach passion and purpose.
I mean, it was a while ago, so
Well, I know, but a while ago, but they at least they did it. You're 43.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in today's world, the kids of today, high school, I've been in front of 4,000 to 5,000 kids this year alone. They don't know the concept of being happy and finding your passion or purpose. It's always go after the money, success.
Is that what you're seeing that they're being taught right now? Like,
No, I'm not.
'cause-
That is what they're being taught.
Because
Yes.
it seems like the younger generations that have been around, it seems like they're picking that up maybe from online. Like, oh, look at all these Instagram models or whatever they are, influencers and so on, and they're like, well, they're super mega millionaires and this and that. I want to be like that, but they don't realize what it takes to get there.
Right. Well, we're not showing them.
Yeah.
You know, but it's all about money. So I mean, that was the question I asked you. Is that what? But you didn't grow up with that concept.
No, I don't think so. I think back then it was just more regular stuff. Okay, you're learning English, you're learning math, you're learning history, this, that.
And
it
also
wasn't
learning
really-
with your hands, because you got to experience various trades in high school.
Yeah.
Right. Did all the kids go through that or were exposed?
I mean, everybody had a trade they could pick, so everybody was exposed to it. Not everybody took it
Oh,
seriously.
of course not. It's not for everybody.
So, like, even back then, I was in the city school, so this is like inner city, and
Right.
some kids just don't care about school or don't care about anything in there. So they're like, they're just whatever.
Right.
They don't take their time.
But
Like,
you,
I came from a different background. My parents didn't have to tell me, oh, did you do your homework, or ask me, or like be on top of me with schoolwork or anything else. Like, I was internally motivated to be on top of things.
awesome.
But other kids around me, they're like flunking, skipping classes, whatever, this, that, whatever. I mean,
But you went to college.
yeah. So I went to college. Well, I was going to go to college for hotel and restaurant management. There's a side story to it. Maybe we'll talk about it some other time. But I registered, got accepted, was moving in because it was in Rhode Island.
Wow.
My sister and her husband helped me move there, or move some of my stuff. The first day I came there, I had a gut feeling like this is not the right place for me.
Intuition, yeah.
Yeah, like for whatever reason, I felt like if I go to this college, my life is gonna go in the wrong way, in the wrong direction.
Right.
So by the end of that day, I took my stuff back and we left.
No kidding.
So you,
That's not uncommon.
Yeah.
so you got there, got the jitters, said this ain't gonna work. I
Yep.
just know this ain't gonna work. So you went back home, basically.
Yeah, so I went back home. It was already too late to register for like a community college or local college, but I did register for a local community college for the next semester, which was January.
Sure.
And then I registered for computer information systems. Totally different thing than what I thought. So
Well, you're just 18 years
Yeah,
old,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, my gosh, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I commend you
yeah.
for going with that.
And my point is, like a lot of kids, they don't know what they want to do.
Why would
And-
you?
And it's okay. Like, you can figure it out, and you do have more time than you think. Because back then, what I thought was like, if I don't know what I'm doing, you know, like I'm losing time and so on, and like I need
Yeah.
to know what I need to do, and I need to know it for the rest of my life, kind of a thing. But that's not how life works. Like, it's okay to try things.
Matter of fact, you should. Yeah.
Yeah, try.
I encourage you to try things.
But give it a good try. Not like, oh, I tried it, but I don't feel like finishing it. Like, finish whatever you tried, finish it,
Sure.
come to some kind of completion, and then say, reevaluate and say, okay, this is probably not for me. Then go try something else. But do give it a full try.
Give it all you got.
Yeah. So I went into computer information systems in a local community college. There's actually a MCC here. There's an MCC over there as well. And then I transferred the program into a local institution, so RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology. So I got a associate's degree and a bachelor's degree from local colleges over there. But then I graduated from college, from Rochester Institute of Technology, and it's like you apply everywhere. They're like looking for experience, or like, you don't have experience, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So you
Didn't matter about your education. You
Not-
didn't have any experience.
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
at that time.
I
Yeah.
remember that struggle.
Yeah. So you come out and you're like, okay, I have a degree, I did well in school, and I can't get a job.
Wow.
So it's like, okay,
Another one
what
of
do I
those
do?
stories. Yeah.
And I got married at 20. So
Do you have debt?
I had some college debt, but it was like small interest or whatever, and
Gotcha.
so it wasn't too bad. Especially back then, it's not as bad as
Well, I
people have it
understand.
these days. But yeah, so got out of college, couldn't find a job, found a cable installation job. So I was installing cable
Nice.
modems and
Right.
And they taught you that in college, so you were
there was
prepared.
nothing. Yeah, I guess. Actually, it did help me in one sense because I was doing not just cable TV, but like internet.
Right.
So in order to install those modems and routers and all that kind of stuff, you just needed a little bit more information that an average person,
Right.
like for
right,
whatever
right.
reason,
it
didn't
expanded
click for
your
them.
it expanded your outlook, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your world. All right.
Yep.
We got to take a top of the hour break here. 704-227. Going to talk porch, sunrooms, enclosures, retractable awnings. Is that one?
Yeah, we'll,
Yeah,
we'll-
And many other things with Jerry here, and finish his story. George Hobel in the house here. Come on back. More about your house coming your way right after this. All right. Hour number 2 on About Your House. Talking to Jerry Shevriko or something, Ukrainian. Shevriko. And Valverax, but listen to his story, and George Hobel's in with us. And how long have you two known each other?
about 2 years.
2 years? How'd y'all meet, if you don't mind?
We met through a local networking organization where you get a bunch of
like
small business
like
people.
BNI, you know.
Yeah, like that, but not
not
as
the
pressure.
same, but, you know.
And so we were at a meeting together, and that's how we got connected.
Gotcha. I hear you.
And we've done some work together since then.
Yeah, I want to talk about that as we get into why you're here and what you're doing now. You're 43, married,
Yes.
kids?
Yes.
12. He's got 12 kids. Just kidding.
You got to divide by 3.
12 divided by 3, so you
Yes.
got 4.
Got
Yes.
4 kids.
Now, what do you 12 kids? Golly. Well, 4. I mean, you got 4 kids, okay.
Yes.
What? How old?
22, 19, 14, 12, something.
Oh,
like
you've
that.
been the gambit, baby.
Yeah.
You've been there. Okay, cool. You're well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seasoned.
Yeah, seasoned. Yeah. Okay. You went to college. You got out of college, couldn't find a job.
Right. So
Then what?
got out of college. Well, I was married at the time.
Yeah,
So gotta
that's
do
why I
something,
brought that
right?
into the fold. You know,
Yeah.
whether
So
had
you
to pick up a woman along the way, or something.
So part of that story of coming back was related to a woman.
Yeah, there you go.
That's not uncommon.
Matter of fact, it's very common. Those relationships tend to put roadblocks and speed bumps in the way, for sure. And they're not all bad. They're good.
No.
Matter of fact, most of them can be real good, real beneficial.
So I met actually my wife before going to that college that I came back from. So I just met her. And then I was going on.
There you go. That's going in the door with a woman in the background. Yeah, I can see now. Yeah.
Chances, Rhode Island, there was the percentages on that being successful were low.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. If I had gone to that college, my life would have went into a different
Right. Well,
direction.
you'd have taken a whole different road. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So I came back. We continued dating, and within 2 years, I got married. I was 20. She was 20.
Cool.
And so we got married. We were both still in school in community college, and then I went into RIT and got the degree and so on. During that time, I was still working in printing. So I had a job doing some, I don't know if it was design or whatever, it was something to do with more with computers, archiving
More of the
files
technology
and stuff
side.
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. And but with time, I went to school. Actually got laid off from that job. They were restructuring or something. For a little bit, I didn't have a job, but was in school full time. Then finished school, ended up finding just that cable installation type of work. Worked there for a bit, but it was like outside in the rain or whatever. Like
Right,
weather
it
and
was-
this and that.
Yeah. Service work.
Yeah, I mean that's not what I wanted to do.
I understand. I get
But
it.
had to do
Yeah.
whatever I had to do.
Yeah.
Eventually, I found a programming job where I was actually programming what I
Computers,
sort of
yeah.
went to school for. So that was really cool. That was first like official programming job. It was with a logistics company, an international logistics company, just doing some kind of tools or whatever
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
stuff for them. That was nice. Eventually, they were restructuring, and UPS bought them and all that kind of stuff. So
Welcome to a corporate America.
yeah, so I was basically getting on that track between that job and the corporate job that I had, which was in Xerox. I had another programming job in between, but eventually landed at Xerox, being kind of an intermediator between the business team and the programmers. So I was like the translator of information between the two groups. So taking what the business wanted, translating it into technical design and whatever requirements that they needed to do. And then they would build a software, and then I would take that and demo it to the business team. So it actually helped me a ton.
That's pretty cool.
In
Well, that's growing. You're growing. You're
Yeah.
learning.
Yeah.
You're melding into the industry.
Yeah.
Sure.
right, like it helped me a lot with communications, how to communicate
Sure.
between two groups of people, and all
Matter of
that
fact, the
kind of stuff.
most important thing, since you hit that,
Yeah.
the absolutely most important thing in life, very key to success in any relationship, the most important thing is your ability to communicate.
Right. Yeah.
And that is very, very, very lacking in today's world.
Yeah. So
That's beneficial.
being at Xerox, like the corporate politics and the structure and different managers and
Sure.
managers and all that kind of stuff, like that was not what I liked at all. Like I didn't like that kind of culture within.
But you
within
didn't
corporate
know it
America.
until you did it.
Right. The good part about it, they did have like this kind of side, almost like continuous education type of things. That's where there were classes on crucial conversations or crucial conversations.
Yeah,
that's what I said.
Sure.
Where you learn how to communicate when stakes are high, when emotions are high, there are opposing opinions and stuff like that. That was very beneficial. Then there was like other classes where, even for programming, it teaches you how to take a concept, kind of decompose it into parts, and translate it.
Break
into,
it down.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you have a huge goal, how do you make it happen? You can
That's-
stare on it forever and not ever make it
Yeah,
happen. But if you break
dissect
it down,
Yeah, break it down.
right, then you can make it happen, creating those plans and so on.
There's
So,
a lot of parts to any plan.
Yep.
You know.
Interesting.
so a lot of that I learned in a corporate environment, which was really good. But I still didn't like the feel of it. It's like, I'm just like a number in there. Nobody really cares for me.
So that's into the reality of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like deep down inside, like I really want to have my own business. I want to set the culture the way I want to do it, and so on. And before that, I
The
tried
entrepreneurial spirit coming out in you.
yeah,
The hell with all this mess.
yeah. And before Xerox, I tried it. I tried building websites for people and stuff like that. So it was kind of like, okay, friends knew it, some other people knew about it, but I really didn't know how to run a business or how to structure it. What are the different things I need, different components? It's like I had some technical knowledge, like, okay, I can build a website.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm building a website, but I don't know anything about
Parts
marketing,
of the puzzle.
or sales, or anything
Nice.
else.
Yeah, but these are all key elements to what you're doing today.
Right.
Well, they're
Right.
key elements to any business. It's the infrastructure, what I call infrastructure to business.
Yeah.
And the only way you learn it is to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
And no matter what the environment, you don't know that you don't like it until you do it, and then you say, I don't like this.
Well, not only that,
But you also were taught at an early age to find your passion. And all along this way, the background story I'm hearing, you're searching for your happiness and your passion, because you're learning all these tidbits to life along the way. And this is the true educational living experience that life is really all about. And that's how we educate ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, what you're alluding to is like experience, and there's theory, there's experience. Which one has more weight, and so on. Like in my view, I take them both. Like both are.
Well, yeah, they both
are
matter.
important,
Sure.
They both matter. Yeah. You were gonna say something, Josh?
well, each one of those things that you were doing are all learning experiences, and they added the blocks to your foundation to be doing what you're doing today. We all have our own blocks. You learned your foundation doing something else. Okay. So it's interesting to hear, you did a little bit of website design, and maybe that didn't last long, but you were learning something in
That's
that process.
great, because you need a website to be in business to do what you're doing today.
Fear would have kept you in that first job, and you never would have left.
Yeah.
Unless you got laid off.
See, a lot of people get complacent in their jobs as well, and they're afraid to step outside the box because of their paycheck, because of their benefits, because of money.
Well, either that or comfort, right?
Well,
Like they're
well,
comfortable
that is
in whatever lifestyle or whatever they're doing. They're afraid of what could be. They'll lose this.
Right, exactly.
Whatever that is.
Okay, so now what? And you got kids now.
Yeah. So 2 kids, 2 daughters by then. So at Xerox, eventually from there, it was a interesting story. Like half of my time at Xerox, I spent there over 8 years. Half of the time I was local in Rochester, driving to work back and forth. Then another company, or Xerox bought another company, and they had an office in D.C. area, Germantown, Maryland. Because of my involvement with a program that we were using here, we convinced them to use that program for their transportation management kind of system. And I was kind of the subject matter expert on that software. So I came
You were
along
project
with it.
manager.
Kind of.
Well, that's what I'm hearing.
Did you move to?
So what happened was back then they wanted me to move, but I'm like, well, I don't know anybody. I don't really want to move. So then I started looking for other jobs locally. I found one job. They gave me an offer. So I told them, well, I really don't want to move. I'm just, if you want me.
You're in Rochester still.
Yeah. Basically, because of that other job that I found, they really wanted me because I had the know-how of the program. So they let me stay in Rochester and work remotely, basically. So I stayed local. I went out there multiple times.
Sure, you went. Yeah.
So
took some business trips.
Right, drove down there once a month or so. They also had a
Where's down there?
Germantown, Maryland.
Germantown, Maryland. Okay.
And then their customer was in Philadelphia, so I would drive out to Philadelphia as well. But I was working with a team in India, so it didn't really matter if I was there, if I was interacting with them anyway. And
that experience in itself was valuable.
Yeah. And but what am I saying? Like that opportunity actually increased my salary by a lot more, basically. So great job, great everything. But eventually, even that like started to come to an end. They were looking to outsource more and more and more work, so they're going to get somebody in India to do what I was doing, and eventually, kind of,
Phase
I
you
saw
out.
I saw that coming.
Yeah.
So my cousin had a local contracting company at the time, and he started kind of growing a little bit. He got an office with a little warehouse, and I was like, why don't we team up? I'll help you with kind of whatever my experiences are, whatever my
You're
skills
the
are.
infrastructure side of it.
Exactly. And
You know,
he's
with
got that
yeah.
contracting, street smarts kind of a thing. I was like, I'll help you structure things, create processes, make things more repetitive, and so on. Because he was just doing kind of
I
stuff on the
understand.
whim.
Sure.
So we teamed up in the sense that I became not exactly an employee of his, but not a partner or anything like that either. Um, at the same time, we were thinking like, can we build a different business on the side as I'm helping him with this? So I came in, started to understand the business, put in processes,
Still
especially
in
help with technology.
Rochester.
Yeah, especially help with technology. We were transferring everything from paper to digital and stuff like that. So you have contracts you sign digitally, track all the customers, have a CRM, all of that kind of stuff because everything was paper before.
I understand.
So helped him kind of transform that. Eventually I got to a point where I was just running the office for him, even though that was not the original plan at all. The original plan was like, I'll help you kind of transform this, but I really want to build some other business together or whatever, but I want to like run my own
But you're
thing.
still learning along the way how to do that and the manifestation of what and where.
And you
you're
left
going.
your corporate environment. You left the corporate job.
Are you happy?
That's
So,
huge.
so here's the other piece of the puzzle. I was making a lot, especially working remotely. So working remotely, not working as hard as remote people don't really work as hard. I think we can admit that.
Well, you just did.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So
Well,
I
it only
went
makes sense.
I went down working with my cousin, got a pay cut like half of what I was making, if not more. And I was coming into the office working like 10-hour or more days. Not really like it wasn't about like, oh, I need to work hard because of whatever. Like I was learning a lot, and at the same time having that kind of work ethic developed me a lot better. But basically, I learned how the company works. You have sales, you have marketing, you have
Sure.
production teams or installation teams, and all of that.
Like I said, infrastructure of the business.
Yeah.
Right. The other thing about me growing up, not just growing up, even now, I don't know if you can tell or not, but I'm more introverted, or I am an introvert. And as an introvert, I don't like to put myself in situations where I'm in front of people, have to talk to new people, especially. So, like, sales would
You're a
be.
behind the scenes guy.
Yes, exactly.
Now
So-
he's behind the microphone talking to.
Yeah, well, I'm getting
So,
this, yeah.
so like, sales would
Yeah,
be
Mr. Introvert.
yeah.
You're on radio now. Wow.
So sales would be my worst nightmare when it comes to
Yeah, yeah.
business and so on. But because I had to like run the place basically there and train other people, I had to come out of my shell in that
Yeah.
sense and like do things that I would really not want to do.
Right.
So
You're getting
Wow.
outside your
That
comfort
is
zone.
so opposite of your little remote position where you could just go
Yeah.
to your other spare bedroom and just don't have to talk to anybody.
yeah, look
Exactly.
at your
Yeah.
screen and type buttons. You know, there you go. All right, we're going to take a break here. 704-227-8800. You got a question or somewhere you want to go, or just ask a question in general? I don't care. We're here for you. You can text us at 704-712-4644. Just hearing the story as we do every Saturday morning, talking about life, spreading some love, hearing other people's stories, sharing. Come on back. We're listening to Jerry Shadriko. That's not right.
Skavritko.
What?
Skavritko.
Skalvrito. A Ukrainian pronunciation there. About how he got to where we're going with this story. Because he lives in Charlotte now. Well, he hadn't moved yet in the story. So we got
Right.
we got some catching up to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, come on back. We'll talk about it. All right, welcome back. Now we're going to hear about Jerry's story about how he's got into what he's doing and what he is doing, and how, you could possibly benefit. But I've got a story to tell. It seems like every week now I tell you a story about something that I saw out in the field this week. We could call it the story of the week, but and I talk a lot about how stupid has become a serious issue. I know a lot of my stories and things are negative. They sound very negative. And I'm not a negative person. I'm upbeat and positive and want things to be all peachy keen, and everybody be happy. But life just isn't that way currently. But anyway, I get a phone call, a referral from, Queen City, that there's a customer that has a kitchen and got a vent hood and just went through about 2 years of a total remodeling project in their house over in Myers Park, kind of Dilworth, in that area over there, off 7th Street, off Monroe Road, kind of. On Laurel Avenue. You know what Laurel's at.
Oh, yeah.
28207. Okay, Myers Park. Yeah, that's where we're at. Okay, near the Manor Theater. Okay. So they say, we just got back in our house from a major remodeling project, and our vent hood doesn't work. Can you come over and possibly figure it out and fix it? I says, sure, why not? We know there's power going to the blower. And that's all the lady told me. I said, okay, I'll go over there. So I went over there yesterday and looked at the vent hood, and there was no blower. There was no blow. It was not an internal blower. So that meant originally, because the kitchen was not a part of the remodeling project, that they had gone through.
Okay.
So the remodeling project they went through was an upstairs add-on.
Upstairs.
Upstairs add-on.
Right above that hood.
Right above the hood. So I go looking for the blower and the ductwork passageway, or highway, you might say.
Yeah.
Where's it going? How's it in the structure? How they hide it? Where's the blower? All this stuff. So I'm here you go. When it goes right up that corner there, they cased it in. Takes a 90, goes over here, goes up. Where's the blower? So I go up in the attic and look on the roof, and there's a roof damper, good roof damper, metal, but no blower, no wire. Look, I'm looking for a wire to go to a blower, but I'm looking for the blower because in order for the fan to work, you got to have a blower. So I'm thinking, well, where in the hold on.
The fan is the blower.
I know. I said, hold on. What's the story behind this job?
Okay.
So I go downstairs and talk to the gentleman, the owner. Well, Ray, let me take you upstairs and show you what we did.
Yeah.
So they changed the whole attic. All the ductwork had been revamped out of the kitchen, out of the ceiling of the kitchen from that point forward. And the whole roof line had been changed. Sure. So here we go. We're starting to make sense now. When they came and took the roof off, they had a power vent. The blower motor was on the roof. Okay, so the roofers, the demo team comes in, takes the roof off the house to put a new roof up there to give you more space for the bedroom, closet, bathroom addition, all that. And so they just take the old blower off. Well, putting it all back together, they forgot to put a blower in.
Nice.
There's no blower. So so the bottom line was the remodeling contractor failed to pay attention to that detail, and it's understandable when you think about how companies are run nowadays with subcontractors and all of this other mayhem, and they don't communicate. They took the blower away, but never put a blower back. So what do we do now? Well, there's an easy out, and that's put an internal blower in the hood. Viking.
Does the can you still run the ductwork? Can it still
The ductwork's fine.
Okay.
The ductwork they put in is perfect.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Just a
great.
No blower.
Just no blower. They ran new ductwork and encased it, did a great job, but there's no blower.
Nice.
So the answer is we can put an internal blower in there.
Right.
If we could find the wire, or run a wire up to the roof, we could put a roof mount blower, but then we're going to have to find the wire that they don't know where it's at. That's feeding the power from the hood to the blower. So there's more to it than just, and believe me, that wire is a major part.
Oh.
Yeah, major. Without that, you got no switch leg or control to get power to it.
Sure.
Anyway, that's my story of the week as far as finding troubleshooting things. And it was kind of interesting. I kept looking for the blower. There ain't no blower here.
No.
Looked everywhere.
What's interesting is all the way back in the planning of that project, they're adding square footage upstairs.
Absolutely.
They were only thinking about what they're doing upstairs.
And
nobody paid attention to what they were impacting in the rest of the house.
No, they didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
And here we are at the very end, very, very,
end.
very
Hey, my
end.
blower doesn't work.
And our vent hood isn't working. What do we do? I don't know. Let's call somebody and figure it out.
Nice.
So I went over there to be the figuring out person. And, no big deal, but anybody would have figured it out eventually.
Sure.
If you just, there's no blower. That's why it's not turning on. Because there isn't one to receive any energy power. Well, they didn't pursue it far enough. And, hey, I enjoy a good challenge, so it's okay.
Yeah. That's good.
And
good that you were there.
Last week, I went over to Vent One George, and I'll share this on a retake here. Went over and very end of the job, the kitchen's done. And they won't put the vent hood up and vent it to the exterior through a floor system going out the side wall where there's a 3-inch sewer lateral in.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna happen. Why are we just now figuring this out? Why wasn't this understood on the very front end to where you could deal with that?
Uncoordinated.
There's other words too, but okay, we'll go with that.
Well, I mean, the trades were not coordinated.
Well, no, all the facts weren't covered.
Right. So
if you're going to remodel a kitchen, you need to know all the details and planning on the front end and know your pathways, especially when it comes to ventilation.
Yeah.
You must have pathways for ductwork, and those need to be covered on the rough end side of the job.
Yeah. Hello. Good night.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's the knowledge, the know-how, but also the project management, coordinating, planning.
The pieces of the puzzle have to go together.
Yeah.
And, I've said it many times on this show, and it's the reason I interjected it on a weekly basis. Planning, and George, you know that as well as anyone. Remodeling is a dance. We talk about it as a dance. And the dance has to be carried out with certain steps. It has to be. There's no way around it. And the plan must be thorough with all the details on it. The biggest thing I see nowadays is they don't think of all the details. And let me tell you, the hardest part of any job is the end. The last days on the job are the hardest because of the details. Details can kick your bottom, especially on the bottom line. They can, like this story I just told you.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to pay for putting the blower in.
Oh, I did a house one time. I wasn't involved in the framing or the rough end, but I took over the house after that. And so we have the house is sheetrocked, and they're getting ready to paint. And we discovered that the owners had chosen an alarm that all the wires had to be run to every window, every door, every window. And nobody ran the wires to the upstairs windows. How do you do that after sheetrock's hung?
Well, a good person can fish. The guys, they can do it.
Yeah, but you want to...
But it's a nightmare. I agree. It can be done because I've been a part of that before, and it can be done.
So...
But
we've seen a lot. So let's get back to Jerry.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm sorry I wanted to interject that because, well, that's kind of a tip of the week. Be thorough. Know all the pieces to the puzzle. And I'm sure we're going to cover that with Jerry because, after all, he got into contracting.
Yeah.
So, you're have we got a caller?
Uncle Red.
Uncle Red. Yeah, now's a good time. Let's talk to
Yeah.
Uncle Red. All right, pull him up. Good morning, sir. How are you? Good to hear from you.
I'm doing pretty good. I kept trying to live stream you, and I couldn't figure it out, but I actually found you on the radio while I was riding around in the Valley. It picks up your radio station, whichever one it is. So I was enjoying listening, but what y'all were just talking about the range hood thing you were chasing looking for the blower. I would be more concerned with where's the end of the wires that were there to start with. Are they hid in the wall somewhere? And
Well,
nobody even knows
one
they're hot or
wire,
not?
one wire's hidden. I mean, I know it's up there going somewhere. I can see where it's starting in the junction box, but
Yeah.
where to from there, who knows? I'm not. One can only guess.
Yeah, I know. But the code says you can't hide anything. You can't hide a junction box in the wall. You can't end the termination in the wall. So, I mean, whoever did it, there's a loose end there. You might have two bare ends hanging up there in the air.
There is a loose end somewhere, and I know that to be a fact because there's a wire somewhere coiled up.
Yeah.
That they disconnected. So who knows? But we'll figure it out.
But you remember me telling you, and I'm not gonna harp a long time, but I've been enjoying listening to the gentleman talk. What my chief engineer used to tell me, the guy at DuPont that was so smart that when came to work for us, he sat in the office one day. You've heard this before, and told everybody, the senior vice president, the owner, and everything. He said, "I'm gonna tell you how this works. You're going to engineer it before you start. You're going to engineer it in the middle, or you're going to engineer it at the end."
Yeah.
Now, this is a company that's been in business since 1934. He's telling us to. He said, but somewhere along the line, you're going to engineer the product.
Yes, sir.
No, you're exactly right.
Yeah, and did you say that one of the gentlemen or something that was in there was from Ukraine?
Yeah, that's Jerry here.
That's Jerry. That's our guest.
Okay, well, and I was going to make a comment, which is totally off of what y'all are doing, but I had sat and talked to you in a long time. If anybody doesn't believe that ductless heat pumps are the way to go, all that stuff was overseas for years, and it just finally came here about 20 years ago, and it's kind of caught on now. But look at some of the poor buildings that's gotten bombed in the Ukraine. Every one of them's got a condensing unit hanging on the side of it for a ductless heat pump.
Right.
And the reason they're using them is because they don't have a defrost cycle. They'll make heat to minus 15. Some of them a little bit lower than that. They're just so darn fuel efficient, energy efficient.
Yep.
And all those buildings have got the condensing units hanging on the outside of them. I mean, just if you don't believe people use them, just go back and look at some of that footage from the war.
Right.
I mean, but it's good hearing you. I tried for 30 minutes and I couldn't lock on and put the app in the phone and listen. And I finally said, let me try this radio station. And this Denali's got a really good radio in it. And I just started listening, so I'm gonna keep on listening to you.
Well, I appreciate you calling. Good to hear from you.
Keep on plugging and keep going. You know what I mean?
All right,
okay.
Will do. Good to hear from you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And he's out. And that's Uncle Red. Good to hear from him. Been a long time.
Yeah.
Talking to Jerry from Valverax, and I'm anxious to get to that name, Valverax, where that came from. But first of all, you're working for your cousin.
Yes.
And developing his company, contracting company, and you're still working for Xerox.
In the beginning I was for a month or two or whatever, and then eventually I just went full time working with my cousin.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you're in the contracting business, in the management and administrative side.
Yes.
Right. More so.
Right. In the beginning it was more administrative, and then management.
Okay. Now you're still in Rochester. How'd you get to Charlotte?
So, Charlotte, the connection to Charlotte is that my wife has two brothers that moved here over the past 15
Where's your
years.
wife from?
She's from Ukraine as well.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
So you found your Ukrainian lady. Wow.
Yep.
How handy.
Yep. But her older brother moved here now. I don't know. It's over 15 years ago. So we've been coming to Charlotte once a year at least, pretty much every
Visit
year.
family.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, and then we were thinking like, you probably should move or would like to move down here.
Was your wife working? I've got to bring her into the fold here. I'm sorry. This is a story.
Well, depending on what time frames.
Right.
of,
But she was working off and on through all this as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a teamwork effort here.
Yeah, definitely.
Gotcha.
This is the what? You got married when you were 20.
Yes.
Same wife.
Same wife.
The one that
So you
pulled
still-
you out of Rhode Island.
Yep.
Awesome.
Same
Same
marriage.
Nice.
Same girl, same wife.
Excellent.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. One morning we were driving to church and I had a thought. I'm like, you know what? I think we should move to Charlotte. And I told her that, and she was like, yeah, we should move. And now as we kind of talk about it, it sounds like she came up with the idea, which is fine.
That's okay.
I think we
That
both came
works.
up with it
That
at
works.
the same time.
That works. Well, it's a great thing that it was mutual.
Yeah. Yeah, because our kids were already growing up. Our girls, one,
How long ago was that?
that was almost 4 years ago.
Okay, 4 years.
2019.
So you came down to Charlotte about four years ago, 2019. Okay.
Yep.
You're a newbie.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, our kids were growing up, and we were like, if we don't move now, we're going to be stuck with our kids there and everybody,
Yeah.
and we won't be able to move. So it's like either now or never. So we're like, okay, well, let's move. And then it was like, okay, well, if I'm going to move, what am I going to do? You know, I've been working with my cousin. I could maybe create a branch with him in Charlotte, doing what we're doing there, or I could just find a programming job or whatever. I mean, there's lots of opportunities.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, there's a tremendous amount of opportunity, and I'm glad you're an opportunistic and an entrepreneurial spirit.
Yep.
Yeah.
So here you come. Yay, brave new world.
Right.
Nice.
I mean, one thing I do like programming. I still like the IT, the information
Sure, that's
systems
good.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I was like, I really don't want to work for anybody anymore.
You don't want to be an employee. I get
Nice.
it. Yeah. You want your independence.
Yeah.
It's hard
Once
to
you
go
get
back.
it, it's hard to go
It's
back.
hard
yeah.
to go back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I was like, I talked to my cousin. I'm like, okay, let's maybe start a branch or something. And we're trying to come up with like some way of negotiating of how it would look and whatnot.
Right.
But then like, okay, if I'm going to move there, I'm pretty much going to be doing all the work of setting it up and doing whatever needs to be done. And if you're going to have a piece of it, you're not really doing much. Maybe helping initially with finances, but other than that, I don't know. I'm like, if we do that, then I want a piece of your company here.
Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't
No.
exactly like that.
Right.
So we in a good way kind of split our ways, and I started Valverax here, fully my own company, and
So you started Valverax when you came into Charlotte 2019.
yes, yep.
Now, what is Valverax?
Good question.
It's a great question. It's a good story.
Yeah.
Oh, there's more? Oh, wow. And the saga continues. But Valverax, you come to Charlotte 4 years ago, 2019. You've been in the contracting business, kind of melded or migrated into it with your
Yeah.
cousin. And, you've learned a great deal, set up the infrastructure. And that's a great side of business that most people fail at
Yes.
anyway.
Yeah.
The business side is what kicks most of our butts
Yes.
and has mine.
And
Because
mine.
I'm a lousy businessman. I wish I was smarter, I am smart about certain things, but I'm also stupid in certain areas, which I own, but I'm pretty brilliant across the board. However, you have developed your intelligence level to a point where you're self-confident enough to move to Charlotte, North Carolina, with 4 kids, no less, and a wife.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's awesome. And here you are.
And no job.
And
Yeah,
that's-
not
Came
a
down
job.
here without a job.
That's self-confidence, man. I love it. Yeah.
No, that's big.
well,
Yeah.
we had a little running lane or whatever you want to call it. Like we had a house that we paid off there. Sold the house, and we were.
You worked hard, too. Damn, you're something. I mean, really.
So
You worked hard. You paid for your house up in
Nice.
Rochester. You got to sell it, so you had a little money in the bank.
right. So that was our running way.
Yeah.
If that runs out and nothing happens, we don't make anything
we're
successful,
screwed.
then we're done.
Hey, one of them ifs. Yeah.
Go back to Ukraine.
Yeah. What do we do then? I don't know. Let's go. Let's wing it and see what happens.
Yeah. But you were asking about the name. So before I tell you what the name means and all that,
before you do that, we're going to take a break.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, we're going to take a break because we're close to a break, but I'm truly curious because here you are, an introvert, as you said. Yep. I'm an introvert, and now you want to go open your own contracting business of sorts.
That's huge.
It is huge, and it's brave, and I honor your bravery, and you're negating the fear factor because that's what keeps a lot of people in their current position. And that's why you're here, Jerry, to hopefully share and inspire people to be gutsy and eliminate the fear and say, I can do this. And we're living in a time of opportunity beyond a lot of time in America. However, it's got its glitches because of the political fallout and anyway, that's another thing.
Yeah, later.
But the point is, here you are, Charlotte, North Carolina, and your wife's not employed either.
No, we moved here with no jobs, no.
Wow. More to this story, but we're going to take a break here. 704-227-8800 if you care to call and talk and question or whatever. George Hobel's in the house. Jerry Cervico. I said it different that time. Anyway, Ukrainian fella, come over here. We're hearing his story of how and what Valverax is and how he could help you in your home and your remodeling or your aspirations and dreams and all this stuff. So come back. We'll talk more about it. Living on Tulsa time. All right, welcome back. Little Don Williams, good 70s country. Yeah. I got that on my Pandora station on the car. Listened to that this morning. Anyway, welcome back. You listen to About Your House on Fox Sports Charlotte. Download the free app. Just go to the App Store, Fox Sports Charlotte. It's free. Stream us live anywhere, anytime, and all the old shows, well, most of them are there. Some of them are missing because, well, that's another story. But at any rate, you can go on to soundcloud.com/AYH Ray and hear the shows anytime you want to. They're podcasted there, planted on SoundCloud, and they're downloaded every week to all Beasley Station podcast menus. So they're out there if you're interested. Anyway, but 94.7 FM on your dial every Saturday morning, 8 to 11. We're here. And today, I got Jerry, George Hobel's in here, George Hobel Design, with Jerry
Skavrico.
Skavritko.
Yeah, there you go. It's a Ukrainian name, but he's in Charlotte now. He lives here since 2019. We're hearing his story and what he does. Took us a long time, but we're getting there. We're closer than we've ever been. We're close. All right, Jerry, back to your story.
The name.
Back to the story.
It's all about the name.
The Valverax.
Yep. So what's in the name? Before I tell you what the name means, as a homeowner, you guys are more like contractors, or you are contractors, so you're seeing the other side. But as a homeowner, what is homeowners' fear about contractors?
Oh, good Lord, there are a multitude of them now. One, price. Two, are they honest? They're going to take care. Are they honest, trustworthy?
Are they going to get taken advantage of?
Am I going to be taken advantage of?
Steal my money?
Yeah, overpriced. Yeah, steal my money anymore?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I just saw this just last week, where a client, not a client of mine, but a client hired somebody to come in and do the work. They came in, took the deposit, started, meaning they did some demolition. And now they're gone. They're gone. So these folks were living in their house, and they have a kitchen that's not functional anymore. They're $20,000 or $30,000 upside down because they gave them a deposit.
Sure.
And they can't use their kitchen, and they don't have their money.
Right.
And they don't have a contractor.
Right. Bummer.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Well, and the moral to that story is, and we've talked about it many times, referrals, and check out referrals, and check your contractors out thoroughly. And once again, and if you're basing the whole job on money, you screwed up out of the gate, because money is very important, granted. I understand that. I do. But that is not the most important thing. Trust me, it's not. You want what you want. You want it on time if you can get it, and that's hard to even grant these days because of material situations and shortage of labor, which we can't forget that. But, all of the above, contracting and remodeling has never been more difficult, never been more difficult in America than it is right now here today. And it's just the way it is.
Yeah, so you guys hit it right, hit the nail on the head with homeowners being afraid of being taken advantage of in multiple ways. The biggest one is just the contractor taking their money and leaving.
Sure.
But an extension of that is not getting what they're asking for or what they want. Like whatever remodeling they want to get done, at the end of the project, not getting what they thought they were going to get.
What they bargained for.
Yeah. So the name is made up of two words. One is value. That's the VAL. So that's the value name.
Right.
Or the word. And then Verax. Verax is a Latin term. I was going to have you look it up if you'd like, or I can just say it. So
tell us what it is.
Yeah,
keep going.
Verax is a term in Latin that states, or the definition of it is to relay the truth or relay truthfully. So the company name is to relay value truthfully.
Valverax.
Yep.
Do you know what a Valveraxosaurus is?
No, I do not. Valvaxorosaurus.
Valveraxosaurus.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah. No.
No, George's over here playing with words.
I need a mascot. So I'm like, if it was a
There you
real
go.
thing, that'd be
That
cool.
Yeah.
That could be okay.
It's a meat eater.
So, all right, you came here. You came up with this name.
Yeah.
But how did you get to what? What are you doing?
And just to expand a little bit on the name, so I've been working with my cousin in the contracting building industry
Arena, yeah.
and his company was primarily roofing. Although we did some windows, we did some siding, some 3-season rooms, whatever, but primarily roofing. So I saw kind of from the homeowner's perspective, contractors are these kind of like almost like low lives. At least that's how I'm perceiving the homeowners viewing us as contractors. And what I wanted to do is transform that image, transform contracting to where it's a reputable industry.
What it should be.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, like a lot of
Yeah,
people.
we're NARI members. We know all about that.
Because you're a part of it now.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
is your
Yeah,
business.
right.
This
and
is your
you're
business.
not-
Yeah.
You don't fit the image that the homeowner has of the contractor. We were talking about this yesterday. Was it yesterday? We were talking about
Day before.
the
but yeah.
roofing, windows, and siding companies
Oh, yeah,
having a bad reputation.
Yeah, yeah.
Literally 2 days ago, Ray and I were talking about this. So you nailed it, and that is a valid comment on that perception.
Right.
That the
Well, that's
public-
what's wrong with the industry in general. It's gotten a bad rap, and for many reasons, and some of them are valid reasons. And this is the industry's fault, and we're changing that as well. But yeah, I get where you come from.
So
It
you
makes
didn't
sense.
fit that image, and you wanted to change.
You wanted to improve
Right.
the image,
Yeah,
in
go
your
on.
company.
Right. So I figured, okay, I'll start something. It's in my hands to make it how I see fit, and
Right.
the way I see fit is I want this industry to be more professional, like perceived as professional, and I want people coming into it wanting to pursue it. Like a lot of people are like, okay, I'm going to be a doctor, a dentist, a lawyer, this, that,
Yeah.
whatever. Nobody's like, I'm going to go to college because I want to be a tradesman.
It's great.
Well, actually, you can't. But there is no college you can go to be a tradesman per se.
Go on.
But-
go on.
But carry on.
But contracting is not just being a framer or a roofer.
Right.
Right? Like being an
How
architect.
well I know, yeah.
Well,
or
you
designer.
have to go to college to be an engineer, right?
Yeah.
Like a certified
No, you
engineer.
don't.
Okay, maybe not, but
Well, you in theory and the educational model they've set up in this country around it, yeah, you do. But no, someone said it the other day, and I'm not wanting to pick on me, but they looked at me, well, Ray, you're an engineer. You know, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
And
he's
you are
talking
too.
about having that seal.
But I
Right,
understand. I understand. And that's where we're come. And I get it. But keep talking.
right. So you can expand it out further, like having people like we just talked about first hour, second hour, whatever it was, about people not planning ahead, not being very detailed, accounting everything before you tear everything down. Notate everything that you will need to put back up.
Absolutely.
Don't forget about that vent.
All
Don't
the
forget
pieces,
about the
yeah.
fan and all that stuff. Like right now, you get a typical contractor. He's like, okay, yeah, we need to demo this, redo this. We got subcontractors. I'm going to let the
Go on
subcontractor
YouTube. We'll
to
figure
worry
it out.
about it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But you need somebody more professional. Like, okay, let's itemize everything that we need to do. How long will it take? What kind of equipment, materials we need, all that kind of stuff. And have good, solid plan. Plans can change, but have a working plan instead of like winging it. Like, we'll figure it out. You know, when we get to it, we'll put something up there. And then they forget. And it's like, okay, like you mentioned at the end of the project, worst time, like going through a final walkthrough and it's like, oh yeah, we forgot this, that. Now we got to redo this thing, tear up a wall or whatever else, and it costs a ton more. So bringing that professionalism of being proactive, planning ahead, all of that kind of stuff is something I feel like that needs to be brought into the industry.
Well, actually, that's part of every company's makeup, supposedly. And that's where the industry has gone awry, the professionalism side, to your point.
Right.
So you wanted to up the ante there
Right.
and bring it all you could to the table, which is great.
Yeah. So part one is the actual skills, but the other thing is the whole perception. Like if the communication is not there, we talked about communication earlier a little bit, then we don't set up proper expectations in the beginning of the project with the homeowner. So then the homeowner is when the expectations are not set, and the project is finished, then they come up with whatever expectations they didn't have, but they now say they had.
Oh yeah.
So
That's why everything should be in writing, and everybody's reading from the same sheet of music.
Yeah.
it should be in writing, but it should be in writing in a way that both parties understand it
Oh,
the
yeah.
Oh,
same way.
absolutely, sure.
Because we
Yeah.
can write something in
What-
writing, and the homeowner thinks of it one way, and we're thinking of it another way. Just a quick, or we got to go to break.
Got to go to break, but to this fact we're talking about, I went going
Wait a minute.
back.
Wait a minute.
What?
What you were just saying, that the homeowner needs to have the same understanding of that sentence or whatever. That's what you used to do back at Xerox. You were the translator
That's
between the
where
two.
I was going.
Is that?
It goes right back to what I said.
Yeah.
The most successful companies are the ones that communicate the best. And,
Yeah.
Excuse me. And what we're talking about right now is communication,
Right.
thorough communication. And it's so important in everyday life, especially in contracting, and understanding both sides, homeowner side, contractor side.
Right.
And believe me, this is probably the trickiest in the business, one of the trickiest points in the whole business. Wouldn't you agree? You know, like a payment schedule, like what kind of knobs you're going to put on, what colored windows, what, tint. All those issues, all the issues need to be covered up front. And, that's part of this business we're in. And you can't make changes during the process, especially in this day and time, because of material orders.
Yeah.
You can't change in midstream. So, once again, going back, you've got to do your project completely on paper,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, things can be changed as long as both parties agree, and then whatever ramifications are of that change,
and
they're
it's
both
understood.
Right.
On paper.
Yeah. Definitely.
On paper, not in your mind.
Exactly.
704-227-8800. We're going to talk about what does Valverax do? What service do they provide? We'll talk about that and more when we get back. More on About Your House right here on Fox Sports Charlotte. Be right back. All right, welcome back. Beautiful song, beautiful. Mike and the Mechanics. In the living years. All right, welcome back. Hour number 3 of About Your House, talking to our buddy Jerry here about Valverax and coming to Charlotte and getting his start. Here he is, 43 years old. Kids are up, getting old now, and doing their thing. What's Valverax all about?
So Valverax,
We know how you got the name.
Yep,
Get it?
yep.
Okay.
We started off with porch enclosures. So basically fill-ins. They have different terms. So if you already have a porch and
Covered
it's wide
porch.
open,
Right.
but it's wide open, doesn't have any walls. And here in the South, especially, people want to have more extra space, especially during the pandemic. People were staying inside more, and they were looking for more space. So filling in the porch with some kind of material that will give you a little more living space. It may not be like a house, but more like an enclosed porch that you can heat up, have a space heater or something like that. So we have this material that's from a company called Sunspace. It's a vinyl film, so it's not glass, and you have these windows that you put in with doors and everything else. So that's how we got started here, providing that kind of product for porches. But since then, we have expanded into actually building those kind of porches, building a screen porch or building a 3-season or even a full sunroom porch. We're doing that. There's a few other things we can talk about. Yeah.
Well, what are the few other things?
All right. So,
I mean, what does Valverax do? Like, if someone you're talking to homeowners right now, okay? And I get this porch enclosures, what I call them.
Yeah.
We're going to enclose your porch or
Build a deck.
I'm sorry.
Do you build a deck?
Yeah, we've done decks as well. So you can look at it as here. I had a thing. We build and improve residential structures and spaces. So build like an addition, build a patio, either pavers or concrete or stamped concrete. Build decks, do pergolas, any kind of shade products. We have aluminum pergolas with under canopy that you can roll on and off to
So you've
shade
got
or open
canopies and awnings,
Yes, awnings, canopies,
retractable
screens, and
electric,
shades.
motorized.
And hand, both. You can have vertical that are motorized, and then
Where do you get your like sunsetters and those things? Okay, because I've installed a multitude of them through the years.
yeah.
But is that what y'all do as well?
And we use a company called Mirage, a manufacturer
Okay,
called
well,
Mirage
that's fine.
Screens. Yeah. So we get their shades and screens, retractable screens from them. Sunspace Sunrooms is where we get a lot of the enclosure material, plus they have aluminum decking, although it's not as popular around here. Aluminum railing we get railing from them. And then they have anything to do with enclosures, basically. They have four different models. They call it Model 100, which is a screen room model. Model 200 is that vinyl film 4-track window. Model 300 would be single pane glass sliders, and Model 400 would be double pane argon-filled windows for the porches. Yeah.
You ever get into heating and cooling?
No. So for the most part, anything inside the house we're staying away from other than flooring. So we'll do like LVPs, or we can do hardwood for the inside of the house.
So you do get into the flooring a little bit.
A little bit flooring. Tiles we've done for the porches. We'll tile the concrete or tile over the
Okay,
concrete.
you've been playing in the remodeling home improvement sector now for going on 5 years.
Yeah, I
4
mean,
or 5.
if you include the Rochester.
Well,
side
we're
of
not.
things.
We're not
Okay,
going to
so like
include
4
that.
years.
We're
let's
talking
say 4
about in
years.
Charlotte, okay?
Yep.
In Charlotte because of the market here, and you're from Rochester, and it's a totally different environment and all that. Although service is service, and I get that. Now, what's your biggest issue in Charlotte right now? What's your biggest
Right now,
hurdle?
you mentioned it a couple times, the material. So we get materials from Sunspace and Mirage. Sunspace is in Canada. They have a manufacturing in there, and they have expanded their manufacturing facility, but because of the demand, they're not able to keep up with lead times. So lead times kept getting pushed out further and further and further.
Right.
So like on one hand, the way I want my company to be is like, okay, we told you this date, this time, and
Yeah,
so on. I
you
want to
wanna
be
meet
like,
that,
I want to
yeah.
honor that. but then we're stuck with the manufacturing that like gives us a rough ETA, but then that ETA comes and they're like, no, probably another week or two or whatever, and then those dates keep getting
Hard to
pushed.
schedule a job, isn't it?
It's not just that; it's just like customers get frustrated because some of that material takes 6 months, 9 months.
Yeah.
Some jobs are over a year. So then I feel like now I'm looking like that contractor that I don't want to be.
Yes.
You know.
We're in a quagmire right now. There's no
Yeah.
doubt about it. I mean, and you're not by yourself by no means.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that we talk about. And the reason you're on the show today is because we want to share the realities of life and how it exists with everything now.
Right.
You know, especially in building and contracting,
Yeah.
and
So that,
remodeling, home improvement in general.
that's the first part. The other part, like what you guys are trying to do with put tools in schools and so on, is the labor force. Like there's some people come, some people go.
A lot
but
of coming and going,
right.
turnover.
Yeah, and it's really hard to find people who are willing to stick to something longer term. Maybe short term they have to sacrifice some income, some whatever time to learn something, but long term they could develop really well. Like I have actually a good example of one of we'll call them customer reps, sales reps, basically. He came in, he didn't know anything about construction and didn't know much about how to relay information as far as sales and so on, but he was willing to stick through it. First 6 months he didn't barely made anything, but now he's been around for 2 years. Last year he made really well, and this year he's on track to make a good salary, or not salary but commission.
Right.
So like people who will stick with it, they can be successful.
Well, it's like anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything you do, you got to be good. You got to go with it.
Yeah.
You know, and dig deep. You know, that's the key to success right there. Don't give up.
Right.
And you're going to fail, and you're going to mess up.
Hello.
That's the way you learn. And you've messed up a few times too along the way, haven't you?
I mean, it's not like every job went perfect. There's been plenty of jobs.
Well, no,
that
I
didn't
know.
go, but-
And well, it's like I've asked some people, give me your worst customer ever's name. They look at it and say, what? So yeah, I want the worst customer you've ever had. I want their name. See, when you come to sponsor the show, I want a little background on the company. And they look at me and say, what on earth would you want that for? One, because if you tell me you never had one, you're lying to me. You know, so I know you've got one. And you do too.
Oh, yeah.
You do too.
Yes, sir.
We all have them,
Yep.
you know. And secondly, I want to call that customer that you thought was so bad. Did you finish the job? Did you come to a conclusion? They say, yeah. Well, let me call and see how bad the pain was. And I call, and most of the time, vast majority, the pain goes away. The wound heals. And the words aren't as harsh as you may believe. You know, so, but in today's world, patience. Oh, it's funny to me now because I'm normally at the very end of a job when I go into a job, regardless, and I get to hear all the stories, you know, about, God, we started this job last April. What? April 2022. What? Really? Wow.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
they've been living in this nightmare. So anyway, yeah, to your point, materials, backups, labor shortages, labor problems, people that don't show up. You get any of that?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like we have we have internal crews and we have subs as well.
Sure.
And we have a sub he's a good guy, does good work, but he does other work as well. And as far as communicating, that's where the issue is. Not so good.
Most people, I hate to pick on men, not really. Men have a hard time telling you the truth sometimes. They tell you what they want you to hear in contracting. Unfortunately, and if I could give any advice to anybody, anywhere about anything, tell the truth. Tell the truth. You don't have to tell a lie. And you don't have to tell anybody what you think they want to hear. You know, because it's not going to get you anywhere. It's going to cause you more problems and more grief than anything you can possibly do. If we could do anything in 2023, and that would be learn to tell the truth and be honest with each other.
Yep.
Sometimes we don't like the truth, but it's the only way to fly. So, okay. So here you are, 2023. Business good?
Yeah, but I mean, last 3 years plus, it's been a learning curve. It's been better and worse,
Sure.
kind of up and down. Um, we started picking up bigger and bigger jobs, and which we're learning a lot from. So like the first assumption is like, oh, look at this dollar amount. It's so big for this job or whatever. But at the end, what's the dollar amount you get in profit? It's like,
The amount of the job doesn't matter, and that's what people say. Well, I did $1 million worth of work, but how much money did you make?
right,
I mean, you can go broke watching Oprah. I mean, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is what's left over at the end of the job. So you can tell me you made all the money you want, but what'd you make?
right.
But to your point. So,
Yeah.
but
So
is your wife in the business at all, or is she in a whole different sector, if you don't mind me asking?
no, she actually brought her in terms of at least taking care of like the financials, like recording things,
Awesome.
checking
Yeah.
up on
It's-
receipts,
Sure.
like auditing the finances
Yeah.
Right.
basically to make sure we're not
Administrative.
messing up
Sure.
on that kind of
Good.
side of things. Yeah, so she's part of it. It's good.
That's
it's a good
awesome.
team.
Well, teamwork effort, and if your wife's got an interest in it, she's bought into it. That's awesome. To have that and she likes it, man, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wish I had that.
Yeah, definitely. From what I hear, like you want to be on the same page. If you're married, you want to have your spouse be in it. Like
It's
supporting you.
imperative. It's imperative that there we go right back into the communication arena.
Yeah.
To have a successful marriage, communication's the top rung of the ladder.
Yeah.
And that ties right now. Y'all are not only married, but you're in business together, which isn't a bad thing if it works.
No.
Right.
It's a great thing if it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear a lot of even some of our friends. They're like, you guys are working together in this. It's like, oh, we would never be able to do that.
Well, and that's good. Maybe not, but you are.
Right.
And that's great.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic. What a great gift. But we're going to take a break here. 704-227-8800 is the number. If you want to call in. If you don't, just sit back, listen, go get you another cup of coffee. We'll be here when you get back. But you're listening to Fox Sports Charlotte. Download the free app, stream us live. By far the best way to hear us. The heck with radio. Although if you want to try it, 94.7 FM. We'll be right back with more about your house. All right, welcome back to About Your House. Every Saturday morning, we're here. Come visit, talk to us. Talking to Valverax, the company. Valverax. How do you get most of your leads?
There's a variety of ways. We do get some leads from manufacturers that we work with. We
Okay.
get some leads from online, from like Facebook groups and Nextdoor,
Social
where
media, yeah.
where we actively monitor those groups, and if somebody's looking for something that we offer, we put a note out there and try to
Gotcha.
contact those people. We have in the past done home shows, set up a booth, and
What do you think of that?
it seems like it's going downhill.
It's been downhill for about 10 years just to catch up.
Yeah,
Home shows are terrible.
Yeah.
Home shows are internet's ruined home shows.
yeah,
Because I used to be very involved in the home show arena of Charlotte with Nary. Nary back in the 90s, man, we were killer in home shows. And then internet hit, big time and changed the internet has actually changed so much in the home improvement and remodeling sector, it's unreal. And I'm not too sure that all of it's good or bad. And like I said, there's more changes coming. Amazon's coming into the service arena this year, supposedly. We'll see how that pans out. It ain't going to work. No way. But hey, who am I to say what does and doesn't work? But I just don't understand how it could totally. But we'll see. But things have changed so much with technology and the internet, and in some respects good, in some respects bad. But how'd y'all meet, George? I mean,
We met at a networking group.
but
Carolina.
have you worked together on a job together?
We've done
Possibly?
a couple of projects together. He had a exterior porch, deck, whatever, and I draw plans. So we connected at that networking group, Carolina's referral group,
yeah. CRG.
Matthews. Yeah,
Right.
and which is it's a good group. They meet once a week in different locations. So there's
Right.
there's meetings almost every day of the business week, in different locations, different chapters, and
I understand.
and it's
I know
not
how
a
it
high
goes.
pressure thing like the BNI, but there's some good people.
Oh no, networking is key. Is absolutely key.
Yeah.
Key element. You know. But back to you, Jerry, and you're in Charlotte. You're in the home improvement industry.
Right.
Are you in any groups yet, like NARI, whatever?
Not currently. Like the CRG
Yeah.
one I was in, the networking group, but
Gotcha.
not the other ones.
I mean,
not yet.
it doesn't bother me. I don't care. I was just curious
Yeah.
because there's a lot to be gained in certain associations and what have you.
Right. Like in Rochester, we were part of the roofing association, whatever that was.
Right.
The
Gotcha.
National Roofing.
Do you do roofing as well here in Charlotte?
We do. We have done some roofs. We just don't focus on it as much.
I hear. Well,
Yeah.
there's a lot of roofers in this here town.
Right.
A lot of roofers.
There's a lot of everything in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yes, there is.
Everything, and you need to be real careful.
Right. So
You need to be you.
once
If you know how to be you, and stick it out. Okay, Jerry and I were
And
talking.
have the
on-
reputation behind you.
Yeah, Jerry and I were talking on the break, and I said 4 years. Wow, that's 4 years. And you're still alive. Okay, that's huge. That's now build on that and continue being you, and the competition doesn't matter.
There is no competition.
No.
right.
You never have competition in the home improvement industry if you're the best you can be at what you're doing.
There you go.
That's all you got to be.
Like speaking of the roofing, there was one customer that came in. He had a roof that he needed replaced, and he went through a whole bunch of roofing contractors. But the way they communicated with him, the way they treated him, not intentionally, like unintentionally, just like a number, he didn't care to work with them. And I was more than some of them, and he still chose me for his roof. So yeah, it's about the relationship. It's about understanding what they're gonna get, the value they're gonna get out of it, not just the material, but the communication and so on. So
Sure.
Yeah.
I get it. Believe me. So, what do you see for the future
for the future,
in what you want to do? Are you fine where you're at? I mean, you got a great little niche. I'll tell you that.
yeah. So I actually have a vision of kind of combining the customers, the homeowners, and contractors or new people, whether they're from high school, college, or whatever, that want to enter into construction. What I would love to build is a platform business where this business provides services to people who will become their own company, but they don't want to take on everything. They don't want to deal with all the financing or tracking all the receipts or taking care of all the leads in the system and so on. They just want to go out there, talk to the homeowner, agree on what the project is, and then get their crew to get the job done. But they don't want to worry about all the behind the scenes. Like we mentioned, or I mentioned before, I'm more of an introvert. I want to do the behind the scenes kind of stuff and let somebody else take care of the in front of the scenes
Right.
part of things.
Well, it takes a village.
Yeah.
I firmly believe, I mean, being in the business for 52 years, I understand truly how, well, the OP factor is what we deal with every day. I call it the OP factor. It's the other people.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't do it, and I can't do it. We can do nothing by ourselves any longer. Wouldn't you agree to that? I mean, you can draw plans. You can draw plans till the cows come home, but you're not going to do that by yourself because the homeowners are involved. You know, then you've got material to think about in those plans. So it's always based on other people.
And it depends on each person's goals. Like, yes, you can
Well,
technically,
attitude. Yeah.
you can technically do everything. Like, I can be a contractor, I can do everything from A to Z, but then I'll only deal with one customer at a time for
Right.
whatever period of time.
Right.
And that's it. But if you want to really scale and you want to be in front of more customers, you need some kind of supporting cast around you to
Well, that's what I
do
say,
what you're
yeah.
not so good at.
Yeah. Now, there's some guys out there, and I was one of them at one time, who didn't want to do any more than we could do at one at a time. And that's all we did. Me and my brother Dale back in the day. But like you say, you can't grow a big business. But then again, some people, and I bring this up because big business isn't the answer to happiness.
Yeah.
It
You
is
don't
for
have-
for the stockholders.
That's a different can of
That's-
worms.
Yeah.
That's investors. Okay.
No, I know. That's
But
why it's not
on an-
happiness for the people that work
Yeah.
there, because they don't matter. They're a number. But for the stockholders, Yeah.
See, you know, everybody's out here getting something out of what they're doing. And if it's just money, well, they're in the wrong profession. You know, because you're not getting the feel good,
Right.
the oxytocin, you know, the feel good stuff, you know, of accomplishing a goal and making someone happy. Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's many reasons we do what we do. But I've always looked at you know, that's where Put Tools in Schools comes in. At the end of the day, when you perform a service, a task, build a building, build a wall, build whatever it might be, the sense of accomplishment, the self-esteem, the gratification of doing a job and well done job, there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah, definitely. And when it comes to like individualized skills and so on, some people, you mentioned you and your brother just wanted to do enough, like take on enough work but not too much, kind of a thing. But if you had, and I don't know you too well, if you just specialized in certain trade, but you didn't want to deal with the paperwork and other stuff,
Right.
so in that case, you could still just take on as much as you want to take on, but let somebody else deal with other parts of the business that you just didn't want to have that headache.
I understand.
Like,
yeah.
it might be easier for somebody else to deal with that part because that's their strength and not your
Right.
strength. So then you can join into this kind of a platform where it's like this platform provides these type of services. You get to kind of choose and pick whichever ones you want, and you focus on just your strength. Like if you're a carpenter, you just do carpentry. You get the leads, you get the jobs. You don't have to worry about selling them. You don't have to worry about whatever. You just go in and install it.
Well,
If you like
essentially, that's how
sales-
everybody works anyway. You know, hopefully, you know, you get subcontractors and people under, you know, in your team,
Yeah.
who like what they do, and that's ultimately what we all want.
Yeah.
You know, but all those ADHD people out there that go crazy, bounce around, and they're out there, and that's not a bad thing when they learn to discipline and control that.
Yeah.
Those urges.
Yep.
You know, we talk about that. Everybody laughs about it, but it's so true. Talked to a lady yesterday on the phone, another contractor, GC, I might add. And when the conversation was over, I told her because she was all over the place in her visions, which I love. But then I said, "Have you ever heard of ADHD?" She says, "Well, I'm not that." I said, "The heck you're not, girl." I said, "Yes, you are, but don't think of it as a negative. Think of it as a positive."
ADHA.
ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
You take the last D and turn it into an A, and call it advantage.
It is an advantage. It's
Instead of disorder, it's an advantage.
And it's not a disorder. It's a great gift.
Yeah.
But when they claim everything to be a disorder, take the pill. You can take a pill and minimize it. No, you can't. No, you can't.
Take the pill. Take the
No, you can't.
shot.
Yeah, take the pill, take the shot. No, you can't. Don't take anything. Take life. Learn to adjust to it.
Yeah.
Because you got a great gift, especially kids out there. They say you're ADHD, and these kids automatically think they're broken. Something's wrong with me. No, quite the contrary. You got a great gift. And I bring this up a lot because it is a major factor in our education system. And we're drugging our kids. It's wrong. It's horrible. It's insanity. That's all I'll say about that. So, back to you. I want to cover something you sell and do that really, really, really are effective. And that's retractable awnings, retractable screens. Like
Those are big now.
That's kind of why I want to hit on it. Like the garage door screens. Do you sell those?
Yeah.
Those are pretty cool.
They're real cool. You can have a screen for your garage door.
Yeah.
Go out there and
because a lot of people set their garage up with a sofa and a TV on the wall and a place to hang out. Yeah.
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 Now, so you sell all that screening material and stuff,
right? And we have manual ones, and we have the
motorized
ones
you
as
have
well
electric, retractable. So screening. Now, what about screen porches? Do you do any of that?
Yeah, we do.
Have you got a system you use?
Right. So SunSpace has their own system. If that's too expensive for somebody, we can do a less expensive system.
Because screen porches are big as well.
Right.
And now there's a company in town that really pursued screening and Screen Mobile, which I'm sure you've heard of.
Yeah.
And I met many, many home shows. They were there and met the owner of that. And he turned out to a very successful little business there. But you're doing some of the same stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, what about metal railings for decks?
We do that.
So if you've got an existing deck and want to get rid of that wood crap, wood railings, you can call your company and y'all can come out there and give them a quote and some ideas on some other railings.
What do you find that people are liking or wanting to put on their deck for the floor? What's popular?
So it
today?
seems like composite is the most popular.
Yeah.
Because we have PVC options, we have composite, we have aluminum decking even, and then wood. So some form of composite, because there's different grades of composite.
Like Trex.
Yeah.
Just to mention the leading brand.
And we use Trex. We also use Fibron. I don't know if you heard of Fibron.
I know Fibron. Yeah. Sure.
Like one over the other, or
So our approach is we come into the home, we try to understand the homeowner. What do they like?
Excellent.
What do they want? What are their preferences and so on? And based on that, then we'll offer them a couple solutions, and we kind of go from there, fine tuning those solutions. So we're not like tied into like you can only have this one thing.
I like the way he said that. They go into the home and they find out. What'd you say? They find out what the homeowner is looking to accomplish, or
right. So what does the
instead
homeowner
of just
want?
selling their one product that they have here. Here's what we sell. You want this? No, he's asking questions.
Right.
And then,
So what do you want if you're the homeowner? What do you like? What are your preferences? Like we want to really understand all of that, because you can say, well, I just need a new deck and I don't want to worry about maintenance. Okay, here's aluminum decking for you. But maybe you don't like the sound of it, right? So I need to discover, like, are you going to be okay with that sound when you're walking on it?
Nice.
And the heat. Aluminum's going to be hot.
Well, aluminum will get hot fast and it'll cool off fast.
Yes.
But it depends on the color of it that will make it hotter or cooler. If it's lighter colors, it's going to get lighter. Because even wood or composite or anything else,
get hot.
they all get hot. Yeah.
Sure they do. Trex gets really hot,
Yeah,
really hot.
but discovering that, kind of noticing the little details that maybe you don't say directly, and actually asking the homeowner questions that will lead to those answers in not exactly a direct way, but in some ways that you can pull more
Yeah,
information out
yeah.
of them, so that you can build a better solution
Yeah.
for them.
No, you're building a better client. You're building a better client relationship doing that. That's huge.
Yep. And stay within your boundaries too. I mean, that's just a little helpful hint.
Yeah.
Because some people get into this business, they go crazy. They become many, many things and don't do any one of those things great.
And
But
that's
it seems to be you've got a little niche going on, which is great.
right. So we started with a niche, then we kind of expanded more to a lot, and now we're kind of getting back, consolidating, kind of figuring out, okay, what do we do really
What works
really well?
best.
Let's just
Yeah.
market that. Let's just do
Right.
that part.
Right.
So it's a little kind of learning
Yeah,
curve
yeah.
to it.
How do they get in touch with you is the best way?
Yeah.
How would you say?
It's online, over the phone, over text.
Valverax.
Just Google Valverax.
Yeah, if they Google Valverax, they'll find it. Facebook Valverax. On there
Valverax
as well.
is VALVERAX.
.com if they want to go directly to the
There
website.
you go.
Yeah, and our phone number's out there and all that.
Are you in sales?
Me personally, so here's the thing: when I started the company, it was just me.
Right.
So nobody else. Like, I had to sell, I had to go install.
Just to introvert yourself.
Exactly. That was my point. Like I had to grow. I have to get out of my comfort
Nice.
zone and do everything I didn't necessarily want to do
Right.
in order to start the company, build it, and so on. So now I have a couple other guys that are doing more of the selling side of things. I still get out there. I still train new people, as much as I personally don't like that portion of it. I mean, now it's more just communicating. So like
That's
I
all
look
it
at
is. Yeah.
I look at it as just meeting new people, but still being
Translating.
right. But still being introverted, it's like any new person. It takes me a little bit longer to get to know them, get to feel right around them, and
Yeah.
that kind of
Right.
He's running his company remote.
thing. Not quite.
Remote. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a new word. Just like disinformation was never a word till 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And there's probably several more too. I'm not interested in. But anyway, well, I appreciate you coming on, and you bring a point up just by virtue of you being you.
Mhm.
Because I've met a lot of people your age and younger, a little older, that have a problem public speaking. Well, if you want to grow, not you, but you too, anyone grow in business, you have to learn to be a good communicator. It's essential. And so many people your age I've hit through the past 5 years or so, they say, well, I don't like public speaking. I said, I don't care if you like it or not. You got to do it. And, I'd go up to them and grab them and say, come on, we're going to go do a video. Whoa, what are we going to talk about? What you doing? What you mean? Just hush and talk, okay? And most of you know how to do it anyway. It's just you've had a fear factor involved with that, right?
Yeah. And
You're
and
overcoming those fears. You're doing it.
right, like making videos online for the business. I started making videos, and I'm like, I don't want to be on camera. I don't,
Well, learn to accept it and be that.
Right.
Because that's part of the business.
Yeah.
And you're
Well-
going to find, too, that once you learn how and do it, you won't want anybody else to do it.
Yeah. Not only that,
And it represents you.
every
Right.
day that you're in business, you're building your story. We sat here and listened to your story going from way back, from when you were 10, okay? You're still building that story. And those videos, they're part of your story. People will buy the story before they buy your product.
Because you are the story and
Yeah.
you are the backbone to it. Your work ethic, your value system. You're still married to the same woman.
Yeah, amen.
Okay, now as we talk here, folks, these are values that mean a great deal to humanity, at least should.
Yeah.
So, and that's your story. And you're growing, and I commend you. You're only 43. My career didn't start till I was 39. Really. Sure, I messed around with it and learned a lot of stuff. Did I do it right? Oh, hell no. Oh, heck no, I didn't. But you're learning,
Yeah.
and you're going to fail, and you're still going to do it. But that's the only way you get better.
Yeah, mine started when I was about 50.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, it's amazing. And it didn't really start. It's just this chapter.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
now I'm 70, and as I alluded to last week on the show, being the first show of the new year, and in 2 weeks I'll be 71 years old. What's next? And we should evolve. We all should. You homeowners out there, you parents, we're all evolving. We're all learning. But the most important thing is we do it with love, care, compassion, and like I said many times, we need to learn how to get back to love. What is love? What is that? Because you can't succeed. No human being will succeed, totally be successful without love in his life. And that's a fact, whether you want to believe it or not. I didn't make the fact. It's a universal God-given law of life. And to find success, too, you must find your purpose. Are you finding it there, Jerry?
Yeah, I think what I realized is my purpose is building teams.
Nice.
So it's not even like specific to an industry.
There you go.
And that's great.
That's not a bad deal.
Yeah.
Not bad at all. We're going to take a break. Come back on the other side. We'll wrap this here Saturday morning show up. Come on back. George Hobel, Jerry Shadrico, close, with Valverax, porch enclosures, screen. I want to kind of hit that screen porch concept again when we get back.
Yeah, sounds
704-227-8800 if you care. And we'll be right back with more about your house. All right, welcome back. Welcome back to About Your House. Today we have had a pretty good show here. Very informative. Listening to Jerry's story about here's a man came to America when he was 10 years old and had a trip, had a journey, and he shared his journey with us today on the show here. Great journey.
Yes.
But great journey, and you're not even where you're going
No.
yet.
Yeah.
43, you're just really getting cranking.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a good thing. What are your kids into, if I might ask?
My oldest one, she's in UNC. She wants to be a teacher.
Oh,
The second one, she was doing some cosmetology stuff that
Cool.
she's trying to figure out her life.
Yeah.
I understand. Sure,
And then
it's a good thing.
Yeah, the boys are still younger. They're like,
They're still playing around
They're
being
playing
boys.
Legos and
They're still boys.
sword
well,
fights.
one of them just went into high school, 9th grade. The other one,
Which school?
They're in Carmel.
Okay, cool. Got it. So you're on the south side.
Yes. Yep.
Got it. Good. Well, it's been great talking to you. Now I want to go to one more thing, the screen porch thing.
Yes.
Screening. Do you do any window screening? Probably not.
Not house windows, but porch screening.
And by the way, on that note, I got to do a little plug here because I never think about it, and I just rang a bell. Renfro Hardware in Matthews, they will rescreen your window screens if you need them rescreened.
Thank you. I just reminded me I need to call David Blackley.
Yeah, Blackman. Yeah, but yeah. So Renfro Hardware has a screening service that if you have screens on your house, window screens that need new screens, because they wear out, fiberglass, and some of them just get holes in them. Well, they will rescreen your screens down in Renfro Hardware. Okay, no. Going back to what you do, screen porches.
Yes.
Screening systems have become very big in screen porches. Systems meaning their frames and the way the screen goes in, and all that stuff, and caps over the fasteners and all that pretty stuff. You've got a system as such.
We do, yes. And even before talking about the system, what's important is for homeowners to consider, what do they really want? Do they want a porch that gives them a lot of airflow? Or do they want a porch that's like completely open but only screened in during certain times of the day, like maybe towards the night when the mosquitoes come out? Or do they want a porch that gives them more than that, like keeps the rain out and keeps pollen out? So it's really important to identify, what do they really want? How do they want to utilize that space? If they just want to have a little bit of airflow, and don't mind screens being fixed all around, we can do that. We can screen it in that way. But if they want to use it as completely like open porch throughout the day and only have it screened in at night, like in the evening or early morning or something like that, then they want retractable screens. Or if they want to keep pollen and rain out, then they want some kind of a 3-season system, which we have those vinyl film windows or even single pane glass windows. Or if they want to just completely enclose it and treat it as an extension to their house, then they can have the double pane glass wall systems or windows, and then they can either utilize their home heating and cooling by adding a duct in there, or having either a split unit,
a mini split, yeah,
right, or something like that.
Mini splits are great for sunrooms.
Yeah.
Great, wonderful.
Yeah.
For sunrooms.
The other thing we have is we've gotten in a relationship with a Turkish company. They have an office in New Jersey. They offer like higher end glass products. So if somebody wants a retractable glass roof, this would be like higher end or almost into commercial, like restaurants. Or they have these like really cool pergola or louvered roofs systems, bifold doors, sliding doors, single pane or double pane.
Nice.
There's a variety of products that we
So y'all
have
sell
access
the
to now.
louvered systems for pergolas and what have you.
Yes.
Wow, that's neat.
Yeah.
Well, you got to come back in a year or so you can catch us up,
Yeah.
because
Sounds
it
good.
sounds like you're up and moving. And
Yeah.
Charlotte's a great city for all that.
Yes.
Tremendous city for all that.
Yeah.
Outdoor living has become a major business in Charlotte.
Yeah.
And you're touching on some of it.
Yeah.
We got to get Jason back in the show too, Davis.
I was thinking about him yesterday.
Yeah. And we're expanding out. We're trying to grow in Charlotte, grow into the neighboring markets like Winston-Salem, Greensboro area. We even do jobs around those markets, like on and off, not as much, but a little bit. So definitely looking for good people here and in other markets. If anybody's interested in working in a company that's I would say more than a construction company. It's a construction company, but we treat things a little bit differently than potentially other construction companies. We're looking for good people in all areas.
And you can get to them by going to valverax.com. That's VALVERAX.com. And, all the information, contact info's on it, and the services y'all render as well.
Yes.
So, awesome. Good stuff. And so, George, when are you coming back to see me?
I'll be back 2 weeks.
In about 2 weeks? Okay.
Yeah, in 2 weeks.
All
Not
right.
this coming
Well,
Saturday.
no, it's okay.
Yeah.
Well,
the end of the month.
We'll talk again. But once again, I want to talk about what we got lining up coming up, folks. Next weekend, we're going to have Chris Tillman with After Disaster, Whitney Thigpen, telling you listeners out there what you need to think about before it happens. Okay? Be a little proactive, such as Christmas Eve when it got down to -3 degrees and all the pipes burst. Well, what kind of aftermath is After Disaster dealing with? She's going to bring us up to date on that. And week after next, Michael Reelon, we're going to have a house full of educators going to tell you how the companies out there can get involved, making a difference in kids' lives with careers in the trades, construction trades, put tools in schools. Talk more about that. A week after that, we're going to have a remodeler in the house with some new remodelers that bought that company. So you can build a company to sell. And that's part of the American dream, is it not? Hopefully you can sell yours one day, Jerry.
Yep.
And isn't that what we do? Now, George, we can't sell you. No, it can't replace you.
We can build a company around you, and then you can sell
Hobel Design?
Yeah,
Nah. When you're gone, you're gone.
I'm working on that.
Step up to your mic, man. I got to ask you a question. Did you kill any deer?
5.
You got 5?
Yeah.
Where's my steak?
I got it coming.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
set you up.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Guy gave me some deer jerky the other day.
Oh man, I
love
made
it.
some. We bought
Where's it at, man?
I ate it all.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
I gotta make some
I don't
more.
doubt it.
Yes, I do. I like to hunt. I like to get a lot of deer because I like to give it away.
Yeah, I know.
So
yeah.
I'll take care of you. I've got to do another round of jerky.
Oh, I love it.
yeah.
Man, deer jerky. Oh, Jeff, you're listening, I know, because you already texted me during the show. The jerky was absolutely off the chain. Make a bulldog break his chain. That's good stuff, I'm telling you. Yeah. Good beef jerky. Well, Jerry, thank you for coming in today. I appreciate you coming in and tell us your story. Thank you, George.
Yes.
Thank you for
Good
bringing
to
up
be back.
Jerry.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And I hope this has enriched your life in certain ways and helped you expand and grow to a new place.
Yeah.
Helps me. I learned how to do it.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here. We do it every day. You going to NARI meeting this month?
Yeah.
Queen City Audio Video.
Is it at
Appliance.
Queen City?
Yes,
I
it
haven't
is.
not registered
This one.
yet.
Well, I have.
I'll be there.
Okay, cool. Folks, if you're interested in changing careers, every company that advertises on this show, every one of them will hire you. Every one of them.
Yeah.
And train you to be the best version you can be. Even Crown Town Cannabis, they look for help, great help, passion. If you're passionate about learning and growing, every company sponsoring this show will talk to you.
Yeah.
So there you go. Career opportunities. Make it a great day. Make it a great month. Thank you, George. Thank you, everybody. We love you. Go out and spread some love. Find a child a mentor or give them help them with a little direction. They're confused as heck right now, so we need to give more time, more effort. So go out and make it a great day. We'll talk to you next Saturday after disaster in the house next Saturday right here. We love you all. Take care. Have a great week.